we're excited today. Unfortunately, my boss Faizul he's a bit sick today. He loses his voices, so I'll be the one doing my tiba, my main job today. I conducting the session for Ara Damansara and Kelana Jaya. But don't worry, my boss is still here. If you have any question, you can just drop. Give me some love. Speedy recovery. Nanti tengok banyak love, okay?
I still have my voice, but I think after tonight I'm gonna lose it for the next couple of days, right? So that's a fucking commitment, guys. Right? But LB will be doing most of the talking, right? Together with the panelists. So I'm just gonna chip in as and when, right? It's required. I'm on a lot of meds. But yeah, I think hilang suara tak guna lah jumpa doktor. So I've been taking some Jawa, and like what I need is rest, right? But yeah, so yeah, that's where I am tonight. I don't know lah. I think there's a lot of bad viral fever going on to the point that people are losing health. So yeah, I'll be without further ado.
Okay, we should start today. Okay, today we have Ara Damansara versus Kelana Jaya, where these two areas is hot because of LRT was announced, and these two areas started to come into our attraction lah. So without further ado, let me share the slide. So today, without further ado, we start Ara Damansara versus Kelana Jaya. Something excited for those who are looking for own stay or probably some investment in this area. Last time we always talk about tier 1, right? Finally, we're covering about tier 2 area, which is not purely about investment anymore. Certain area will actually more suitable for own stay, or some people also take this opportunity to invest. So let's see in these two areas, the hottest area in PJ, which one will actually perform better or more suitable for which kind of criteria. Okay, so let's join this today. So we are doing Ara Damansara versus Kelana Jaya. So this is the point of view we are going to covering about like transaction, rental yield, and is there any possibility for this area to do Airbnb? If yes, how's the data going to look like? So basically our study is most or like data driven to help as a guideline for you guys not to purchase something over the median. If you are looking for investment, which one is the best to go lah? Basically, this is what we are doing this today. Okay. So what are we expecting to learn? Maybe some of you are new today. We are talking about 7 criteria, basically, which what we are referring to when we are going for some investment or when you're choosing property to buy. So we are doing Ara Damansara and Kelana Jaya. So basically, we are going to understand the border at which we actually fall under Ara Damansara and which area will fall under Kelana Jaya. And also, most of this area is actually under tier 2. So this is our, I guess it's the second time we do tier 2 area lah. So we will have a definition of tier 2 in this area. So you guys can just referring to it and probably just do your own math and calculation lah. So new and old as usual, which one is performing the best? And for better tonight, we have Ara Damansara, mostly is under construction. We have Myra, Amara, Tri-Ara, and the Pinnacle. For Kelana Jaya, most of it is actually completed. Some of it is unsold. We have Arcus, Sunway Serene, Panorama, Sapphire, and also High Park Street. Some of it we taken into consideration of it nearest to the mall or anything to see in terms of own stay or investment kind of value, we should actually outperform in this area. Okay. So without further ado, we just go into our tier 2 and its definitions. So in our tier 2 guidelines, our rentals in this area mainly falls in between 2,000 and 5,000. So actually 5,000 in this area actually would be a bit rare, unless for those very big size units that would be achieved about 5,000. So occupant mix, actually most of it is dominated by single populations. You can see this area is mostly by certain group of people. Prices of high rise is about 500 to 750 per square feet. For landed properties, it's 1 million above lah. So in tier 1 area, it's about 2 million and above, right? So for new launches in this area, it's about 600 actually to 1,000. Kurang 100 lah, bukan 100 per square feet. Okay, there's nothing so cheap in this area. So that's our tier 2. So basically, we are going to go for the definition for Ara Damansara. So when we talk about Ara Damansara last time in my
I think maybe could just go back to the tier 2 definition. I want to add a little bit, right?
Sure.
So I think one of the definitions for tier 1, if you guys remember, is the fact that in tier 1 areas, rental of above 5,000 is not uncommon. It's pretty normal, right? Whereas when you go to tier 2, you will realize that. So I think there's a typo down there lah. While the new launches are not cheap, right? 600 to about 1,000 ringgit per square foot, not 100 there, right? The rental rates is pretty different, right? Compared to tier 1. Tier 1 rental above 5,000 is very common. In tier 2, rental of above 5,000 is very rare, right? Which is why, for example, despite TTDR is just border to Mont Kiara, borders to Bangsa, it is still part of tier 2. Despite property values are very expensive in TTDI, rental above 5,000 is still pretty rare, right? So in the whole of PJ, and if you look at, for example, old PJ, new PJ, Ara Damansara, all the way to Glen Mary, Mutiara D, Damansara, Kota Damansara, you will notice that price per square foot for new property and new launches are not cheap. Your 700 to 1,000 ringgit per square foot is pretty common. But yet, rental of above 5,000 is not common, right, in these areas, which is why we define them as part of tier 2 lah, right? So now, tier 2 also has got a upper tier 2 and your normal tier 2 lah. Upper tier 2 biasanya mahal sikit, right? So one of the insights that you're going to get tonight here is that normally for upper tier 2, it's no longer dominated by single race. Upper tier 2 got mixed lah. You got the wealthy Melayus, you got the wealthy Chinese, you got the wealthy Indians all looking to buy property there. All right. So price for high rise in tier 2 is pretty common, 500 to 750 per square foot. Landed typically is above 1 million in these tier 2 areas, either middle tier 2 or even upper tier 2. Right. So this is just to give you guys some level of definition. What is tier 2 is all about. Right. So you guys are clear on tier 2. Right. So obviously for tonight's discussion, both Ara Damansara and Kelana Jaya falls part of what we call tier 2. Specifically speaking, they are basically part of upper tier 2. Right? So the tier 2 yang atas sikit, yang mahal sikit. Okay? So yeah, continue Abi with the definition of the border.
I'll continue from the definition of border. So we go first from Ara Damansara. So last time when we talk about Ara Damansara, it's more towards like own stay, or even today, I guess people talk about Ara Damansara, they would go through maybe own stay, then only they come to investment because they start a lot of corporate parks, a lot of corporate offices in Ara Damansara. So for Ara Damansara, is separated by NKB and also Jalan Lapangan Terbang Subang. This is Jalan Lapangan Terbang Subang. This is NKB highway, and beside of it is Tropicana Golf Course, and also near to Tropicana Kota Damansara area on behind already. Okay, basically this is our Ara Damansara border as for today. So the next,
before you pergi, patah balik dulu. This one I want to bring Sean. Sean, what do you remember about Ara Damansara?
The days before Sime Darby officially put in all their corporate offices.
Yes. What do you remember about Ara Damansara? I remember when this area recently just popped out. I was working for Stanchart at that point of time. And I was doing my internship in the mortgage department. So my head of mortgage spoke about Ara Damansara. So at that time, right, the OG of Damansara is obviously, as you know lah, your Damansara Jaya, right, your Damansara Intan, right, obviously your Damansara Heights, and there is an upcoming Mutiara Damansara lah. So Mutiara Damansara at that point of time was already on the way up. On an expensive side. So Ara Damansara was his Ulu place at that point of time. And Ara Damansara at that point of time, the word at that point of time was that if you slap any area with Damansara, sure go up one in value.
Oh, that was your story?
Yes. So that was the story 20 years ago. So I was in Sanchat in 2005 lah. This is like 19 years ago, right? So yeah. Right. So what do you remember about Ara Damansara? So that was the only thing I remember. So my ex-boss at that point of time was the head of mortgage, and he bought a couple of property in Ara Damansara. He seemed to think that's a bit further away, but it's a upcoming area, and he bought a couple of landed property there. I think about 500,000 at about time. Right, 500,000.
Didn't make much, ma?
Huh?
Didn't make much lah compared to the years holding lah.
I guess it's making what, now 1.2 to 1.3 now, those properties.
Yeah.
Right. So very decent.
Oh, but 20 years.
Well, two properties after 30th, 800,000 each gains, still 1.6 million not too shabby on a 400,000 investment.
2005 I baru habis SPM. No, must use this opportunity. We got no voice to ketuk you.
See, it's your fault. You are born too late. It's all your fault, right? Okay. Why did you buy Ara Damansara at that point of time? You should have invested. Bam.
But that time because I was hanging around Subang Parade a lot, and the only time I go there is via the airport lah. It's only the airport, and it was hutan, really hutan. The way to airport was hutan. But I started my recording of YouTube 6 years ago, revolving a lot of Ara Damansara. Like whatever that we're going to discuss today, all I visited myself. And you can see a distinct difference. The most memorable one is there's one extremely atas project in the center of Ara Damansara. But until now, still got unsold stock one. The bungalows for 4 million, white in color. Cannot move. But like you say, it was supposed to be atas, right? I don't know lah. But what I learned here is when majority of land is dominated by one party, when they say go, then suddenly you see the whole tempo rancak sikit lah. If you don't have that, right, it has been not moving for the longest time. Then the second thing is I observed the LRT movement. Once LRT was introduced, only you see some movement creeping in. If not, it's just a pure residential. But now, the third thing is the connection that is killing the whole Tropicana market right now. Last time, killing. Last time, it was supposed to be a temporary road. But now, in 15 meters, you have 2 traffic lights. How does it work? So everybody now that I know is moving out of Tropicana because of that junction. Last time, dulu that junction is already very terrible for BU to Tropicana. Now with one more junction into Ara Damansara, oh my god. Ooh, so and these are all documented now. So that's why I am very pleased with that, because anything from 05 to when I started recording, nothing much happened actually.
So I think one of the drivers, I think there are two things to basically highlight lah. I think number one, the developer, which is Sam Darby, seems to have a reputation of building good townships. Right? So I mean they were in, I think they were in Subang. Then they built Ara Damansara. So far I think people who've been following the developer seems to be making money lah. Then Putra Heights subsequently, right? Sam Darby seems to have a reputation or building townships. Samdabi does not have, I think, a great reputation of making money as far as high rise is concerned. That one is pretty debatable, right?
Yet.
Yet lah. But as far as landed is concerned, I always tell people, right? If you buy individual, let's say, for example, house, right, versus township, most of the time you'll be better off paying a little bit of a premium to actually buy into a township that is being built by a good, reputable developer. So most of the time you pay quite a significant premium lah. But this is a story for Desa Park City too, right? You got your Desa Park City versus the Sunways on the side, the one, being built by the Desa Park City guys are outperforming the ones built by Sunway just outside.
Yeah, the SPKs
the SPKs are right, because these are not township. These are like smaller plot of lands and all that, right? So I think people who followed Sam Darby in a way as a developer has done very well. Of course, albeit you're still looking at a 10 to 20 year horizon. I think the price point in Ara Damansara probably peaked at about 2016, 2017, at the height of the last property bull run. I suspect that if you exit today, you get the same price point as per the peak of the last property bull run. So that means if you bought in 2004, in early 2000, let's say a 400,000, right? And then you exited 10 years later, 11 years later, at let's say 1.2 million, you would have made 300%. Whereby if you exit, let's say 20 years later, you still made 300%, but your return, because it's 10 years to 20 years, it doesn't look as good. You know what I mean? So, which is a key thing, number one, guys, is that I think let's give credit where it's due. I'm not a supporter of Sam Darby. I've never bought any product from them because all their product is very expensive. Premium and atas, as you can tell from my face, I'm not an atas person, right? So I don't buy from atas developer, because buy from atas developer very hard to make money, right? So because they know the atas, the price point is also very atas, right? So since I'm a high-rise player, I don't buy from reputable developer because it's not required, right? And so far for township, high-rise, no impact, right? So unlike landed, if you buy township, is better. But for high-rise, it doesn't necessarily, if you buy into township, you make better returns compared to the non-township high-rise, right? So I think that's where you give credit where it's due, right? Sam Darby has been an excellent township builder, especially for landed. And so far, people have followed them over 10 to 20 years, make pretty decent money, right? Buying Sam Darby properties, right? So that's one. And then the number two here is that for high rise, guys, it's not as important for you to go and buy into a township development rather than non-township, right? Because today, for example, if you look at Sam Darby's high rise property, I couldn't say it's outperforming the non-township, right? So-called high rise in the Ara Damansara area, right? So and Ara Damansara was named Damansara because at that point of time, a lot of developers seems to believe that you slap anything with Damansara, they'll make money, right? So that was what is quite funny, right? You got anything to add?
But last time Google internet not as advanced, It's like my in-laws last time I got Jalil. Then they buy. Then Jalil then they buy. Then mana tahu is Puncak Jalil, bukan Bukit Jalil. Then kena burn. But then if they were to hold, now Puncak Jalil also not bad already. Yeah, so again on the timing of releasing that one. But the high-rise one, for them, for the same developer that we just mentioned, I think in Subang we haven't seen enough yet. Then in Ara Damansara, I think the latest one was only Kantara, and a few more coming up. So I don't know, like based on your theory, for more mature one, then it's okay lah. But if for those who understand how township works, is at least I know the building is built in accordance to the surrounding, not what's left over, because that's going to be like Metro Park.
Yeah. By the way, guys, towards the end of the session, you will see the Ara Damansara from a new launch point of view is doing something that we have never seen any other area is doing. So tak apa, yang tu kita simpan lah sekali. Kita bagi tahu, bagi suspend dulu. A bad guy is coming. You know a bad guy is coming, but you don't know what is. Okay, I'll be continue.
Okay, that's interesting. So basically, that's what we have taught in our Ara Damansara. I guess it's more or less, my thought first was Ara Damansara actually more towards residential. Other than the upcoming, like recently it's come up more like corporate park offices that's built up by Sime Darby as well. They pull more attraction to this area comparing to last time which is like quiet. Cannot say undeveloped, it's just quiet. Most of residential area.
When's the last time you went to Cheetah Mall?
Cheetah Mall. To be honest, I only go to Paradigm. I tak pernah pergi.
Okay. I don't want to catch
I
up.
just turn around. Because actually last time I work quite close in Tropicana area, so I will pass through that also, stay around that area. So Cheetah Mall tak pernah pergi lah. Pergi Paradigm, sorry. Okay. Next.
So why you ask that, Sean? Cheetah Mall?
No, because it's demographics. Like now I'm having this theory, like malls are designed with target audience in mind too, and it consists of the mixture of tenants. So like I like Cheetah Mall. Like for my kid, right, a lot of places to go, and it's a street mall, and it's very intent based. I don't go there bersia-sia. I go there makan, buy this, buy that, ciao.
As for residential lah.
The last time I was there was pre-COVID lah. It was a lot more happening.
COVID was.
No. Pre-COVID, it was already quite okay. Because I went to the mall, I think it was 2010. That was the first time like it was half dead lah. Like it was terrible. Right? Then when I went there, I think right before COVID, it was very lively. I think it was full occupancy. So there was a lot of pretty decent eateries. So a lot of people actually went there to go eat and shop lah. Like what you said, very, very, very purposeful. So there's a lot of good eateries, halal, no halal combined. And then there's a proper supermarket and all that, right? So everything that you need on a daily basis, you can basically get it lah from Cheetah Mall. It's pretty convenient lah. Yeah.
For that Ara Damansara area lah, because other than that it's like Lotus or Evolve Concept Mall. Yeah. just give you guys a bit insight. It's not only Cheetah Mall, okay? There's another mall called Evolve Concept Mall and Hypermarket Lotus lah, okay, in Ara Damansara. So in Kelana Jaya, I'm much more familiar. Went to Paradigm a few times. Okay, so this is Kelana Jaya, but today I guess Kelana Jaya is actually quite big. So most of the area that we are focusing today is more closest towards SS7 and SS6 lah. So we have NKV Highway and on the west side over here, and also Jalan Lapangan Terbang Subang also. Then we have LDP here, and also we have the golf course over this area lah. That's on the main side we are covering for Kelana Jaya on today. So this is I would say considering the upcoming booster, but even though I guess in Kelana Jaya area there's actually LRT already, but we have LRT 3 that's coming up. And to mention here, we have SS7, which will be behind Paradigm Mall. And for Glenmarie Station, you can just interchange to LRT Kelana Jaya line, which will bring you to KL Central. So this LRT 3 will connect you from Bandar Utama and all the way to Klang. Yeah, so will be, last time it was called LRT Shah Alam lah, because it's all the way to Shah Alam and to Klang. So if you wanted to take MRT, it's either you go to Bandar Utama for MRT interchange or you go to KL Central for interchange. So basically, when LRT was announced, then there are actually more developers started to come into this area, like a bit more lah. Cannot say a lot, but there's some coming in, and some of it, like they build cover walkway to the RT stations. And their layout will be more towards investment or small size, more suitable for those working youngsters who actually nowadays, most of people doesn't want to rent together like co-living or something else lah. It depends, but there are still markets, but most of the developer now is smarter. They come out with small layout. So which we're going to discuss some of it in our Battle Royale later on. So this is our basically the part we are covering on the first on definitions area. So next we're going to move on investment. So this is the 7 criteria like we always mentioned. So median, if you're buying today a property, so which is the right price point or how much per square feet you should be entering. So usually we will not enter a property above the median unless it's an own stay product, because own stay is more basically is more towards your preference, your choices. So you just tutup mata and beli, and so you don't really care how expensive it can be or whether it has investment value or not. So new and old as well, because even when we do valuations, we considering the year of this building is being built, whether it's being well maintained or not. This is the consideration. So and tiering, whether this is a tier 1, tier 2 area, and which kind of price point you have to pay or you wanted to pay at this area, where we have the tiering guideline at the front, and the supply in this area, whether there's more and more coming to be your competitor in the area, and also some booster, and also maturity point. Some area would take some time to be matured into a matured township or have more development coming in, maybe like offices being built up. So will actually become a booster towards the point. And also multiple rental options, whether it's just only suitable for whole unit, or some is like co-living concept, room rental, or even some is like short-term living like Airbnb. So this is what we are considering when we are buying a property, some criteria that we can referring to. So
I think just to add a little bit or what LP is saying, is that we developed these 7 criteria I guess in the last 10 years based on our investment journey of almost 20 years, right? I began to buy my first property in 2005. 7 criteria is the guide that we produce, right? Or I've created to guide you guys if you are looking to buy something for investment, right? If you follow, observe 7 criteria, and if you can find property that meets most of the 7 criteria, most of the time you're going to be quite okay. You're going to be able to go and buy the best possible property in the area. All right. So if you follow 7 criteria, the probability of you getting this wrong, buy property that lose money badly, will be very, very, very low, which we will later demonstrate. Okay. If you are keen to go and watch the full video on 7 criteria to fully understand so that no one can scam you, please go to the link that we provide, go and watch the video. So people who watch tonight, you can basically scan the QR code there. Then you're going to have access to the video, full 2-hour video for free. So it's a bit long, but like I said, it will encapsulate everything that you need to know if you want to buy safe property that won't lose money. Okay, so that's the usage of 7 criteria. Later, we will demonstrate what is our result buying into this area when we deploy 7 criteria. How are we able to go and buy the best ones in the area? When majority, by the way, of the people who buy property in Kelana Jaya, Ara Damansara, since 2014, and the last 10 years, actually did not make money. Right? Majority don't make money. Right? Which later you're going to be able to go and see. Okay? So if you guys want to avoid that outcome of buy property, don't make money, please understand 7 criteria. We've released it for free. All you have to do is scan it, go to the link, watch the video when you're free. Okay?
Okay. So that's about 7 criteria. So I'm going to pass the presentation to Zari to talk about the transaction in this area.
Thank you, LB. All right, hello everyone. Zari here from research. Yeah, today we're gonna go through with you guys on the transactions part for Ara Damansara and Kelana Jaya. So what do you guys think? Which area actually is more interesting or more potential for investment. These two areas for me are more familiar for Kelana Jaya lah, right? But
Let's
these
vote.
areas,
Let's vote. Siapa think which area can make more money? Ara Damansara or Kelana Jaya, guys? Kasih vote.
kasih vote sikit.
Kasih
See.
vote before kita continue. Oish.
Quite balance lah.
Quite balance lah, but I think the thing is tilted towards Ara Damansara.
Because ada banyak new launches kot Ara Damansara.
Alright, cool. Hey, thank you guys for participating. This is just for us to have a sense, right? So yeah, continue, Zari.
Okay, so two areas bordering each other, neighboring each other. And Ara Damansara is a bit newer, late 1990s. Kelana Jaya I'm more familiar because it's for 1980s, and so my generation probably more familiar dengan Kelana Jaya, part of Kelana Jaya, right? So yeah, I'm going to go through the transactions. Here you're going to see there are actually more transactions of high rise in Ara Damansara compared to Kelana Jaya. 50% more than what Kelana Jaya transacted lah for these past 2.5 years. So that's quite a surprise info, because if you see here, Ara Damansara is newer. So Kelana Jaya have actually really low transactions. Even though this Ara Damansara campur dengan Kelana Jaya, you can't actually exceed the transactions of Monkara itself lah, 900 plus, yeah, for this same range of years. However, if you see here in terms of the price transactions, actually most of the transactions is for the old developments, the old 2010 and earlier. So for Kelana Jaya, is about 75% of it is actually coming from old developments. Kelana Putri, Kelana Putra, all those developments lah, Sterling. Ara Damansara, however, quite balanced between the old and the new ones. And for the old developments, you can see most of it is actually transacted below 500,000. All right, 75% is about 500,000. The rest is probably around 500 to 700,000. So you can really buy a very old property, about 20 years plus property, about 500,000, or actually cheaper. Okay, and yeah, if you see the median overall is about 500,000 for Ara Damansara, and Kelana Jaya is 450. Again, this is because of these old developments actually pulling down the median. But if you can see the median of the new and the median of slightly old, about 10 years old, is about, for the new is Ara is 680K, Kelana Jaya is 540K. Here, Ara Damansara actually, you can see is slightly higher than Kelana Jaya. Median of old, which is from 2011 to 2017, also Ara Damansara is higher than Kelana Jaya. So this is in terms of the absolute price. You can see Ara Damansara actually exceed Kelana Jaya in average median of transactions. This is probably because of the size of the Ara Damansara projects and developments is actually bigger in size. It's actually meant for own stays, Ara Damansara and Kelana Jaya, potentially because of after the LRT extension to Ara Damansara, then you can see more and more developments of Ara Damansara post 2015. Same goes to Paradigm post 2012, more and more transactions of developments of property in Kelana Jaya other than the old ones. All right, and yeah, the median of the Ara Damansara is higher than Kelana Jaya. The transactions of the old and new properties in Ara Damansara is actually also higher than Kelana Jaya. It's actually Kelana Jaya, other than the old before 2010, is only 25% for the past property for the past 10 years old. But Ara Damansara, I can see for the property around 2011 to 2017, actually there are quite a lot of quite balanced to the older ones. And yeah, you can't really see much of a 1 million and 2 million properties. You can actually see 1 million plus in value properties in Ara Damansara, but you can't really see this property in Kelana Jaya. Actually, there is only one transaction of Sunway Serena in Kelana Jaya that's actually exceed 1 million. But for Ara Damansara, there are quite a few, as you can see in the lighter gray. Right. So yeah, in terms of absolute price, Ara Damansara actually wins against Kelana Jaya, and in terms of the transactions number also. So you can see more demands in Ara Damansara for the past few years compared to Kelana Jaya. All right, for the especially the old, slightly old, and also the new properties. Then we go in terms of the price per square foot. Here you can see actually it actually really supports that the old 2010 and earlier and before, you can actually buy it below 500 ringgit per square foot. So it's 500,000 and below, most of it in majority. Also in majority is 500 ringgit per square foot and lower. All right, only for Ara Damansara, you can see there's a bit of 500,000 to 750,000, 750 per square foot. That's actually coming from only one development, Ara Hill. It's old, 2010, but it's a different kind of development that's actually a bit more luxury. But other than that, you can see majority is 500 ringgit per square foot and below. So this actually really pulls down the overall median. You can see Ara Damansara 583 ringgit per square foot. Quite low, right? Kelana Jaya also slightly lesser than 400 ringgit per square foot. Yeah, again, because Kelana Jaya, you can see the slightly old transactions and the new transactions is property transaction is really little, consists about 25% only. Right, and median of new is quite balanced between Ara Damansara and Kelana Jaya. Even though there are more transactions of Ara Damansara for the new developments, but it's quite balanced, 800 ringgit per square foot and higher. And the slightly older ones, Kelana Jaya actually wins 700 ringgit per square foot compared to 634 ringgit per square foot. So here you can see, even though Ara Damansara wins in terms of the absolute price, is more in terms of absolute price is higher compared to Kelana Jaya, but Kelana Jaya actually wins. It's actually slightly more expensive than Ara Damansara. Okay, and the older ones is actually around 400 ringgit per square foot. Actually, you can buy the old developments, even Ara Damansara and Kelana Jaya. So these are the 20 years old and 20 plus years old. And most of these actually surrounding the shopping malls. Like for example, in Kelana Jaya, the old developments is surrounding the Paradise Malls, and the old developments in Ara Damansara also surrounding the Chita Mall. Okay, so yeah, good to see that there are actually demand in terms of the new projects, new properties in both areas. But however, the older ones is actually in slightly more demands. Okay, so probably it actually suggests that they're actually more. Okay, now we go slightly deeper into the transactions. For new properties in Ara Damansara, is actually there's 83 transactions. So it consists roughly around 20% of the overall transactions. If you can see, there are 5 developments which is new, and other than Potpuri, all of the developments, the average build up is below than 1,000 ringgit per square foot. Okay, even though we suggest that Ara Damansara is actually more demand in terms of own stay, is actually not coming from the new properties. The own stay demand is actually coming from the slightly old properties and also the older ones. Like for example, you can see Myson is 50 transactions, and also the Aman Crimson is 67 transactions. So these 2 developments alone is more than 100 transactions. And yeah, there are actually very few transactions that is actually a walking distance to LRT. So actually for this area, Ara Damansara, because it's quite huge, right? Ara Damansara. So not only all the developments that actually walking distance to the mall or the LRT that is actually in high demand. You can see, for example, the new properties, Perla and Ara Central is only 9 transactions. It's new, is not too high in terms of price per square foot, around 700 ringgit per square foot. but there's actually 9. So you can see compared to Kantara and Potpuri, Potpuri is not really walking distance. Kantara also not really walking distance to the LRT and also to the mall especially. So it actually can transacted closer to 900 ringgit per square foot. And the number of transactions is actually much higher compared to the one that can actually walk to the LRT. Ara3 and Perla combined is only 14 transactions. That's actually lower than Potpuri itself. H2O is also high in transactions, but it's still it's not walking distance to LRT. Okay.
Hang on, the Sean, do you know anything about Myson?
Yes, abandoned.
Yeah.
Block A to A, B, C, D, E.
Right. So Myson was a revitalized property. And if I recall correctly, the original name of this, I think, was Platinum Damansara or some shit like that.
Oh.
So I remember because my first property was in Kelana Jaya. And I always remember looking at this area, right? And was looking to buy property. And you know, I think it's Platinum Damansara. It was selling for about 180,000 at a point of time, right? And then
what? 180,000.
180,000. Right? So 180,000. So then it got abandoned for I think almost 10 years. And then someone came in, rescue it, right? And became Myson Damansara, right? It still looked like a property pre-2010, if you know what I mean, right? It doesn't look like a new property, even though it's completed in 2017. Which why, for example, if you look at the price point of view, it's still hovering below 700 ringgit per square foot, despite the average of everything new in Ara Damansara is closer to about 700. Right? So this property was something that, you know, I was bad-mouthing, right? Shit property. Luckily, I didn't buy. I stopped bad-mouthing this property because then when it was completed, it was transacted at 700,000. 600 or 700,000. Okay, imagine you buy a property, you pay a few hundred ringgit of interest for 10 years, and then the property gets completed like 10 years later, but you make 500,000 ringgit. Sure, yeah.
But there's also a difference like between the first 4 blocks and the last block.
Right.
The last block was the incentive for the main contractor to take over.
Yep.
Yeah, so for the last block, it's a premium block where the ceiling height is higher, the whole facade design is a bit more square because the older blocks one is all the old design. So even then, that's why now I just now when Zairi was presenting, I was just Googling, like, because unfortunately we cannot tell which block was transacted that results in this price.
Correct.
Like for me, I'll go bricks, go and find out, like, is it that particular block only? That would be very interesting, like old block and new block. Then because the entire facilities, I think it's way better. There's a very nice Thai food there. But so my point of view now is I was just Googling, like, okay, even abandoned, like you say just now, it's just like, it reminds me of the one in Subang Jaya, USJ 19, the one that was saved by which developer? So now there is, what is it called? What mall is it? There's a mixed
Damen, is it?
developer. Sorry?
Is it Damen?
No.
No, not Daman, the other end.
The other side. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I forgot what is suddenly I don't go to malls as well. That's the problem.
Is it USJ place?
The main place.
Main place.
Yes, thank you everybody.
Right.
Yeah. So main place also, after they revitalize, and I think the mall is doing amazing. So that's why I'm Googling. But again, if you know, then you know which block is completed later with higher specs. So like when you say the Mason, I also was just going to say, the Mason. But one question to Zairi, right? Kelana Putri, do you know how long is left within the lease?
It was completed 1996.
Okay, 1996.
Yeah.
Then it's this year is a leasehold, right?
70 plus lah.
I think it's less than 70 now.
1996. I need to.
potentially lah. I'm not sure whether those time the developer actually renew the lease or not upon completion. Like,
Yeah, so it's about 70 years left. So now I'm curious personally to observe this, right? I think that's the oldest building around the area.
yeah, it's actually the oldest in Kelana Jaya and also Ara
Yeah.
Damansara.
So when banks
No,
are
correction. Oldest leasehold, I think.
oldest leasehold.
Yeah. I think freehold, there was an older property, but I
Oh
forgot.
yeah. Oh, I mean leasehold. Correct.
Yeah. On
So
the
I want.
SS7 side, I think it is the oldest leasehold.
So personally, I want to see like really happen where bank don't want to finance the transaction for lease lower than 70 years or 60 years.
We have to wait that for to happen probably the next 10 years. Very interesting.
Also, so that's why I thought that's why I look at it like all the old buildings then. Does their price so just now when you present, a few things happen to my mind. Leasehold, but still so high in demand. Right? And those are the shorter lease one. But people keep buying the highest transaction at the shortest lease ones. So I'm not too sure. I haven't really brained everything yet, but that was the observation.
Probably, Sean. I think if in Selangor, if you were to buy for own stay, you can actually renew the lease paying very low premium.
1,000
right?
1,000 to land office, and you
Yeah.
share 50% of the profit when you sell later.
Yeah.
So I believe this is all the own stay purchase.
Correct, but that's for landed.
Only for landed.
No, it happened to landed. So all the SS1s, SS2s, the 222s. So a lot of them they don't know this rule, so they just bail. And for lease renewal for landed houses, you need to form 5A or 5B, I forgot. It's about 200 to 200 over thousand for a terrace house lot. But for a high rise, it becomes very interesting because you pay 1,000 per unit. Because the land small, you share all, right? But you get to renew back to 99, right? I think the property price will double. So just imagine if the whole stack of residents all just agree, right? That everybody pay extra 2,000, you renew your lease.
Yeah. Probably.
And then, yeah, so that's, so when you are presenting, it's not like I go and Google, not paying attention, but this just want to run through some theories.
All right. And to answer your question, on my side, I've ran through the transaction just now. There's 5 blocks, right? So most of the transaction is coming from the block B1 to B4. So yeah, the order spec blocks. Yeah, so that's probably is around 600 plus per square foot. The newer one probably goes up to 700 square foot. Okay, but regardless, is the highest transacted for 10 years old condo for this Ara Damansara. Okay, I continue.
Yep, go ahead.
And if you see also, there are not many developments that actually reaches 1 million and above, right? Because even if you see the size is bigger than 1,000 square feet, but still the price is below 1 million. So here there are few actually developments like Port Puri, Ara Greens, and Ara Hill. So these 3 developments actually really high spec, really low dense, probably is for own stay. And actually, if you see all 3 also, regardless of whether it's old or new, is actually transacted quite high compared to their peers in terms of the age. So demand for own stay, the spec is really important factors. Not really the connectivity to the mall or LRT. Okay, so yeah, overall per square foot wise, 583 for Ara Damansara, and yeah, close to 400 transactions. So Kelana Jaya as well, they actually more and more developments actually in small size Plaza Kelana Jaya Residency High Park is really small in size, around 500 square feet in average. But the transaction is not too bad as a new development. There are 11 and 10 transactions each for these two developments. Panorama, which is slightly bigger in size, right? Is also new, but there are lesser transactions. And for 1 million and above transactions, is only coming from Sunway Serene, and is only one. So new developments, the demand looks like is more towards a smaller size, and 700,000 and below. But for the older ones, you can also see similar trend. In Kelana Jaya, they are not really paying higher than 500,000. The Grand, small in size, 360,000. The highest transaction for that age range, right? 2012 to 2017. Zenith is also below 500,000. Okay, even though the size is close to 1,000 square feet. So most, again, in Kelana Jaya, most of it is coming from the very old developments. The oldest one is Kelana Puteri here, transacted 55. So it's the oldest, closer to the least balance, shortest least balance, but yeah, 55 transactions. Higher than its neighboring developments, such as the Kelana Putra, Kelana Mahkota. So this is development that is actually around Kelana Jaya styling mall, Kelana Jaya mall. So yeah, 500,000 and below 500 ringgit per square foot. Actually, you can buy these very old developments. Yeah, so between Ara Damansara and Kelana Jaya, there are more. If you're talking about walking distance and closer to the mall for new developments, most of it is coming from the smaller size. So price is not that high, but per square foot wise is higher. So like for example, for new in Kelana Jaya is actually above 800 ringgit per square foot, but the median price for the new is only 540,000. So low absolute price, high in terms of per square foot. And interesting to see High Park actually the only transaction or the only developments that actually higher than 1,000 ringgit per square foot in the whole Kelana Jaya. So even the Sunway Serene can't really actually exceed 1,000 ringgit per square foot and all other developments. Right, regardless of whether it's smaller, Plaza Kelana Jaya also doesn't actually exceed 1,000 ringgit per square foot. Okay, that's roughly about Kelana Jaya and Ara Damansara. Next, I pass it to LB on the rental yield.
Okay, so thank you, Zari, for the interesting insight about our transaction, where we look how Kelana Jaya and also Ara Damansara has been performing. I guess Ara Damansara has more transactions, but per square feet wise, Kelana Jaya still beats Ara Damansara. So let's look into rental use, which is more towards investment. If you wanted to rent out unit, how much yield you're getting for the area, right? So this one we are first carrying for Ara Damansara for new one. So we have Pelah, Aratri, Kantara, and Port Puri. So if you're looking at rental per square feet wise, the highest we have is actually Pelah Ara Central, which is connected to Ara Damansara punya LRT, considered the nearest to the area. The UI is the highest is about 5.33 comparing to others. So if you're looking at like Kantara and Port Puri, it's actually more towards own stay. Even their one bedroom is about 755 to close to 900 square feet. So actually towards an own stay punya sizes. So that's why yield wise is actually lower. If you look at Kantara, it's just 4%. Port Puri on average is about 4.8%. Then Aratri asking is actually slightly cheaper. This is why the yield is better. Aratri is more towards the evolved area, commercial area. Pelah is more towards the LRT station. This is why the UI Pelah still perform quite better comparing to others of development in this area as for new one. So as a conclusion, new one is rental per square feet is about 3.35 ringgit. Asking is about 860. So you can see asking in Ara Damansara for new is about 860. So just remember this number. Later we'll see how much Kelana Jaya is asking for today. For rental yield wise, for Ara Damansara is about 4.99, is below 5. So for the next one is actually for old comparison in Ara Damansara area. So most of the developments, if like for old back in 2014, 2012 or 2010, a rental per square feet was actually below 3 lah. So yang quite good perform one is H2O yang close towards the Oasis Corporate Parks area, and also U-wise is also the better one, H2 and also Mason and Urbana. Then other than that, of course, because the asking per square feet is so cheaper, that's why making the U is also better. For Pacific Place is closer also towards the Ara Damansara LRT station. If Suite is close towards Lembah Subang LRT station. This is why their U is actually above 5. But on average, if you can see, for new and old in Ara Damansara area, the rental yield is actually more or less the similar. So for new one is 4.99, for old one is 4.95. It actually doesn't have much difference. So actually it justifies why Ara Damansara area, when we first talk about it, is people have this kind of concept. This is more towards own stay. And most of the people here really they buy it and they choose for own for their own stay lah. This is why the UI is not really that high or above 5. It's all below 5 for even new and old. So even for those like Pelah is connected towards Ara Damansara, the U is just 5.33%. It's not very high also. But of course, the price is not very high for Pelah comparing to Potpuri or even Kantara. Okay, so this is Ara Damansara new. So we're going to Kelana Jaya for new comparison. So we have Arca, Sunway Serene, Panorama, Plaza, Kelana Jaya, and Hyde Park, and also Sapphire. So for this area, the rental per square feet wise is actually higher. So if you're about to rent in this area, you will get a better yield and also have to rent for higher prices lah. So it's about 3.59 ringgit. Asking per square foot is about close to 800. So remember just now when I talk about Ara Damansara asking for new is about 860, right? But why Kelana Jaya is since towards transaction prices is higher, but asking is actually lower. So I guess my tick over here is actually because Ara Damansara is more towards own stay places ma. So people are asking to sell at a higher price point because people are just wanted to see the market whether they buy on this price point when they're asking for more. This is why when you look at number of transactions, Ara Damansara actually have more than 30% comparing to Kelana Jaya. Where Kelana Jaya, even though it's transacted higher, but today asking actually lower comparing to Ara Damansara, which is more towards an own stay wide kind of concept. So if you're looking at UI, Kelana Jaya actually performed quite well. It's above 5%. It's up close to 5.56. Something to highlight here is the one that performed quite good is Sapphire, even though it's quite some time really completed in 2018. It's just opposite Paradigm Mall. The yield is above 6. And also it comes with big sizes. It's about 1,005 and 1,007 also. And the big size also get quite good yield comparing to other small sizes in this area. So the next one, we have a old comparison for our Kelana Jaya. So on old property, other than like Azure or the Grand Laguna, which is quite new, other than this, old one is the rental per square foot is actually low. So it can be as low as 1 ringgit and 73 cents. Okay, so rental per square feet is about 2 ringgit 41 cents, asking about 500. This is why when we do the transaction point per square feet, this is why Ara Damansara old property actually lose up to Kelana Jaya actually lose up to Ara Damansara. This is why we have the asking as well, because the yield and rental per square foot actually also lower for the old property in Kelana Jaya. Okay, so we have a summary table for everyone easier to have a look. So on here we have Ara Damansara and Kelana Jaya. So rental per square feet wise, if you are looking at Kelana Jaya today as new property, is RM3.59. But for old property, Ara Damansara, which is more towards own stay places, their old property per square feet, rental per square feet is actually slightly higher, 10 cents only. Actually, not much difference, but it's still justified. Some people can still argue it. Okay, but asking per square feet, why? You're looking at Ara Damansara, new property is 860. New in Kelana Jaya is close to 790. This is why we just now I bringing the discussion why we talk about Ara Damansara. When people talk about it, it's more towards residential own stay. That's why people put our higher asking to see whether the market will buy on this price point or not. Because when you look at the number of transactions, actually we have more transaction in Ara Damansara comparing to Kelana Jaya, even though Kelana Jaya in terms of yield or per square feet wise is actually higher. So if looking at rental yield for Ara Damansara is 4.99 for new, O1 is 4.95. So new and old actually in this area doesn't have much difference. I would say this would be more towards an own stay, typical trade for it, because new and old actually won't affect much because people really buy to stay only. So the yield wise, not much people actually care about it. They usually stay on their own. They don't really rent it out. So for Kelana Jaya, new and old actually perform quite good. It's above 5. So for new one, it's about 5.56. For old one, it's about 5.20%. So we have segregate into different layout. So just for your view, if you are looking at Ara Damansara, for 1 bedroom, new one, public expensive rental per square feet is about RM3.82. But for Kelana Jaya, 1 bedroom can go up to RM4.20. So in rental per square feet, this is why I say Kelana Jaya might be a better area if you're looking for investment. But Ara Damansara is more towards an own stay. This is how when we do layout segregation, when you see most of the asking for rental per square foot in Kelana Jaya is actually higher than in Ara Damansara. So even like 3 bedroom, highest can go up to RM3.33. Ara Damansara, the furthest it can go is about RM3.50. So Kelana Jaya have big sizes, about 1,500, 1,700 square feet. So still perform quite well as well. So because looking at their yield, the 4 bedroom is the one can get above 6% in Kelana Jaya. So that's all for new and old comparison. Then I will move next to Airbnb. So
I think let's just cover a little bit about the new and old comparison.
Can, sure.
Right. Let's just do a quick summary. So guys, when you look at the data, right, for Ara Damansara, the premium of new versus old from a per square foot point of view, right, roughly is about 30 to 40% higher, right? So that basically that's why you can see here from a rental yield point of view, right? Both are basically comparable lah. So senang cakap, the direct translation here in Ara Damansara, whether you buy new or you buy old, the premium or the amount of money you're going to make is roughly about the same, right? So this is basically what this data, this table is basically translating. Now, in Kelana Jaya, it's a different animal altogether, right? The premium of per square foot from new versus old is almost 50%, right? It's almost 50%, right? And which is why as of today, when you buy new property in Kelana Jaya, your rental yield is actually better compared to the old property, right? So that's point number 1 lah. Now, point number 2 here is that when you compare from a investment point of view and you look at it from a cash flow point of view, Kelana Jaya is a better performer compared to Ara Damansara. Okay, so far is this clear to you guys? Now, what is odd here is that the number of transactions in Ara Damansara is almost 50% higher compared to the one in Kelana Jaya. Yet, from an investment point of view, Kelana Jaya seems to outperform Ara Damansara, at least from a rental yield point of view. Okay, so now, the next question here is that, what about capital gain? Right, so from a capital gain point of view, Ara Damansara is also not outperforming Kelana Jaya too, from a capital gain point of view. Because majority of the property that is being sold in Ara Damansara, if you are talking about new in the last 10 years, majority of them are not making money. I mean, your H2O, your Kantara, your Potpuri, this property are not making any form of capital gain. Okay. La Perla also, I don't think is making any form of capital gain. RR3 is debatable. Because today I think transaction is roughly close to about 600 ringgit per square foot. And I think there are groups who actually went in at about 550 lah per square foot a couple of years ago. So of all the property in Ara Damansara, none of them are making any form of capital gain in the last 10 years because it was sold at a premium, right? Therefore, it's a little bit harder to go make money lah. Yeah. If you're talking about last 10 years completion property lah, prior to that, then got right similar to basically Kelana Jaya lah, right? Whereas in Kelana Jaya, I think people who bought High Park, I mean, if you believe the latest transacted at about 1,000 per square foot, which to me is, again, is odd, because High Park doesn't have a rooftop pool, does not have the best facilities in the whole of Kelana Jaya, yet it is still able to go and command a 1,000 ringgit per square foot transacted price, which I find it to be quite peculiar, right? So Far Capital is very familiar with this area because we bought inventory in 5 different developments in Kelana Jaya and Ara Damansara, right? So we're very familiar. And High Park is one of those inventory that we entered, right? And in a way, High Park is like the third best property lah from a facility point of view. Yet today is transacted about 1,000 per square foot lah. Okay. So from a capital gain point of view, you can rental yield, Kelana Jaya wins. Capital gain point of view, Kelana Jaya as of today is leading Ara Damansara, right? So while I think from a brand point of view, right? If you're arguing about brand, right? What is a better brand name? And then clearly is Ara Damansara has got a better brand, right? Compared to Kelana Jaya. Name is also nicer as per the comment, right? But the reality, which one makes better money, more money, better return for any investors in the last 10 years? I think it has become very, very clear. It's Kelana Jaya. Right? So compared to Ara Damansara. Sean, Zairi, you got anything to add on this?
I'm looking at the 4-bedroom unit that is so outstanding.
Yeah. Because
4-bedroom?
4-bedroom, the 4-bedroom, for new one, it's come from Sapphire, opposite to mall. Kelana Jaya with its connectivity, because the new one in Kelana Jaya doesn't come with that big size.
Yeah, or smaller one.
All smaller size. This is why making this big size actually make quite a number of better yield comparing to others.
The worst part is I visited the unit but didn't buy.
Probably you can ask also later.
Yeah, you see, like 4-bedroom, because the argument then was
this big size, why people want to buy, right?
No, it's a close comparison to all the landeds around.
Yeah.
4 bedrooms, you will get a landed really,
Sure.
So here's what I find interesting in PJ, right? And this only has happened in PJ, right? So PJ is the only area that I can think of as of today, right? That I know. So again, right, my knowledge in property, as you know, is not full-fledged. I don't know every area in the country. So I can only cite PJ as an example, right? So PJ is the only area, Sean, and audience, right, whereby today you can actually find a high-rise condo being sold at a higher price point compared to the landed opposite, right? So the best example as of today that I can think of, before we talk about your Sapphire and Azure, right? So Azure also, I think, has got a layout with 4 bedroom. I cannot remember anymore, right?
1,005.
Huh?
About
1,005?
1,005.
I
But
thought Azure has, I thought Azure has got 1,007 or 1,008.
oh, I think either the bigger size lah.
Yeah.
Ada
So
juga.
anyhow, so I think so the reason why I say this is because you know Amira residence, right? So you know Amira, you got Five Stones, right?
Yeah.
Those condos are actually transacted at a much higher price point compared to the freehold double-story house opposite.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean, right? And the reason why this is happening is because number one, scarcity of land, right? Now, number two, which is I think the real driver behind the condo, is that you got the first generation, the older parents, all don't want to move out of SS2.
Oh, okay.
And then you got your second generation of PJ, right? Your SS2 guys don't want to stay in the landed property there because the landed property is quite notorious from a security point of view. I remember visiting a friend, right? All right, I remember visiting a friend. And 3 houses next door got robbed while I was visiting this guy, right? And this guy was like calm as fuck, It's like, nothing one. So as if, right? If your house hasn't been robbed in the last 24 months, your time is going to come soon.
Yeah.
So it's that bad, right? From a security point of view, it's that bad. So obviously, I know of a lot of second generation in PJ who became banker, make 20,000-30,000 per month. Them and their spouse don't want to stay in landed property because security is notorious, worry about kids and whatnot. But also at the same time, they want to be quite near to their parents. But at the same time, you don't want the parents to be able to go and visit the house, like Everybody Loves Raymond. I don't know whether you watch Everybody Loves Raymond, right? So you don't want to stay opposite of parents or in-laws, but they can visit you anytime, right? So that's why you see high-rise in PJ is transacted at ridiculous price point. It doesn't make sense. There's no area that I can think of anywhere in the country as of today whereby the high-rise is more expensive than the landed. I cannot think of any. I couldn't find any. Right? You go to Taman Tun, you don't find it. You go to Bangsa, you don't find it. Right? You go to Mount Kera, you don't find this. Right? You go anywhere like that, you don't find this. Only in PJ.
Interesting, huh?
So only in PJ. PJ is like the exception because typically, I will always tell people, if you buy high-rise more expensive than PJ, you are confirmed so high. Right? If you buy high-rise more expensive than landed, you confirm so high one. Normally, that's what I said. I have to eat back my word, you see, because in PJ, it was the exception. And I thought it's not going to be a long-term trend, but until today, right, you see like Five Stone, you see like Amira, the price point didn't go down. You see Ken too, price point didn't go down.
The new Mega Rise also is higher than the
Mega Rise, Starling Residence.
Right. So far, Starling maybe because units are quite small, right? Yeah, so quite small. Not hard to compare lah. Which is why for PJ and PJ alone, this trend of whereby you see a high rise going over 1 million, there are people buying it. But people refuse to stay in landed property with no security, but at the same time, they also want to be nearby parents. So what is happening in PJ is not replicable anywhere. I don't see in Shalam. I don't see in Bukit Julutong. So far, I haven't seen it. I think the area has to go to a certain level. For example, the township has to be 50 years old before you can see this thing happen. So
does it mean then all developers have made their mistakes in KJ area? Because you see the last three, okay, I was marketing Kelana PJ, one of the project Plaza KJ, sorry.
Right.
I was marketing it from an investment point of view, and we sold easily at 300 units a weekend. But when you say just now, like now all units are shrinking, like Panorama shrink, all shrinks. It's starting to be a bit more big, also small. But you see the 2,000 square feet one, wow.
So my take on that is that it wasn't a mistake. Because SS2 is a lot more older than Kelana Jaya. So I suspect it's a vintage of roughly about 35 to 40 years township before you can get that. Kelana Jaya does not have that vintage because Kelana Jaya, I think, it started about 1987-ish, that side. 1990. So belum cukup 30-40 tahun. Belum cukup the second generation making 20 or 30,000. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So you need that vintage to happen before the high-rise can be more expensive. It is acceptable for a high-rise to be more expensive compared to the landed, which I find it to be bizarre. So last time, for example, if you argue, let's say 7-8 years ago, still 5 Stones and Amira is the only exception in the country that I can think. So today now, only today, 2023 onwards, then you see suddenly, hey, Kelana Jaya also got exception. Before this, it's only 5 Stones.
Yep.
Right? Because I it was surprising for me because 5 Stone was a project that I thought was doomed to fail because 5 Stones at that point of time when it was selling for 500 ringgit per square foot, that was Mon Kiara proper per square foot, no? I say, what the fuck, PJ, 500 ringgit per square foot rental, you cannot make it, blah, 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 blah. No way it can happen. Bloody hell, SDB sold everything within, I think, 2 or 3 months.
And with a faulty lift all the time.
And there is no seller. Everyone buy for own stay. Price remains high. Shortage of supply for rental. Shortage of supply. So it's 800, 900 ringgit per square foot. Right? Largely because there's just no supply. It's the nicest thing you can buy from a high-rise point of view in an old town. Right? So, is it a mistake for your 121 or Plaza Kelana Jaya? I don't think so. So Kelana Jaya hasn't reached that maturity point for it to be able to go and do what SS2 is doing.
Okay.
Make sense?
Makes
So what
sense.
is going to be interesting here is that, because I thought it was the only area, it was the only exception. Now I see in Kelana Jaya, what is interesting is to predict which area next.
I'm thinking about that already, like planning.
Right. So I think there will be a very interesting. So as we are doing this, I came to a realization point. There's a minimum years of vintage requirement. What we need to find out is what is that sweet spot like? Is it 25? Is it 30? Is it 40 years?
Question.
Who?
I always have this theory where for individual terrace houses, there will be a cap to their selling price compared to a stratified project because of the exact reason that you just gave, which is security. When your residential roads becomes the main road after new developments, you cannot just block the road with palang and all. I think moving forward, stratified projects in those areas will perform better than individual terrace houses. What do you think?
100%. 100%. Which is why today, I think what we're trying to do, and we have failed to go and do, is to actually buy landed property in stratified development, but selling at a non-stratified price. Well, that would be the margin, right? That would be the margin, right? So typically what we find, stratified property is about 30% more expensive. So yeah, I fully agree. If I want to buy landed property today, I'll only buy what is stratified. At least gated and guarded minimum. So again, this is not to say that the non-gated and guarded, the older landed property will not make money. It's not to say that. It's just saying that it's not going to lead the way. The one which is going to lead the way, right? And which is why one thing that you guys have to understand is this concept called emotional value, right? So why is Ara Damansara more expensive compared to Kelana Jaya? It's because of this thing called emotional value. Ara Damansara is perceived to be a more premium area. So anything that has got a winning perception, right, typically commands a higher premium. So what does a stratified development does? Emotionally speaking, it gives you a much greater certainty of security.
Also at the price range that they are providing. If
Yeah.
it's 4 to 500,000, security may be secondary lah. But when you are at 1 million, 2 million already, we're talking about joint income of 12,000, 15,000, T20 kind of level. Security should be number one already at that time.
So I think when you are a parent and you are at least a M40 in Klang Valley, security becomes a real primary concern actually. Right?
Yep.
So which is why just look at for example, right, the older properties or older apartments, right, with little to no security, you know, and a lot of foreign workers there, you will see the value is not going to go up. Because why? Lack of security, lack of emotional value. It's cheap, but there's a reason why it continues to be cheap, right? Because no one with money want to see that, right? So if you buy something with good security, like say a landed stratified property, what typically happens is that anyone who made money, right, in that area will move there, right? So the old money will move to the new area with security because anyone who's rich will worry about security. And once you reach certain level, you will realize that security and safety is your number one reason and number one concern, right? I told this story before, but you know, I don't know whether I've told it this year, right? There was a Tan Sri that stays in Damansara Heights, nice bungalow, got robbed at Parang Point. Got robbed at Parang Point. Damansara Heights, notorious, right? And the next day, he walks into one of the developer's sales gallery with completed property in Monkera, bought the show unit cash, next week move everything there. Right? So, once you reach certain level, security becomes a primary concern. When security is a primary concern, money is not an object. Right? So, why Ara Damansara is more expensive? You will see Ara Damansara has got newer property with property gated and guarded.
Yeah.
Which Kelana Jaya does not have from a landed property point of view.
Also from a town planning point of view, if you look into the road system, there's a proper primary, secondary, tertiary local road system in Ara Damansara, and that allowed all the landed homes in Ara Damansara to be gated and guarded from a single entry and exit point of view. From Kelana Jaya's side, you can enter from left, right, center, where also can go in. So if you want to just secure everything, right, it's very hard. That's why the internal roads can always be a shortcut. So but for the Ara Damansara, you can see no matter how you waste, right, no shortcut, right? All go back to the one way out. Yeah, so that's also from a town planning point of view.
Yeah. So Ara is new compared to Kelana Jaya from a landed property point of view. So if you are in those two areas and you want to buy something new, gated and guarded, there's not much option in Kelana Jaya. Right? So Ara, you got a few.
Oh, sorry, I got a lot of questions, especially in your sore throat days, right? Question, right? Airport last time was all international flight also, but then Subang Jaya restricted building high, Ara Damansara restricted building high. After they take off, KLIA was built, then all become the small airplanes, then high-rise starts booming in Ara Damansara. That's why it's a bit later than Kelana Jaya. But now, if they were to upgrade the Subang Airport to cater for more airplanes, do you see an effect to Ara Damansara?
Of course. I think the Subang airport is being designated to now cater for international flights. So
Mm.
that's part of the plan, right? WCT is taking over.
Mm.
That's what the rumor is, lah.
Mm.
To build a aeropolis,
Mm.
say, right? So for me, any form of options from an airport point of view is going to be something I welcome, lah. So
Mm.
yeah, I think Ara Damansara will be hot again as far as airline industry is concerned.
Mm.
Yeah.
All
It's
the
gonna,
air stewardess, all the captain, all the engineers.
I think it's the engineers and the captains and the pilots, right? Because these guys are the one with the high enough disposable income to go and actually own something in Ara Damansara. Unfortunately for airline crew, their basic is actually quite low, right? The of course the performance, so-called the flying hours and all of that will be full. But typically for airline crew, because 60 to 80% of the income comes from variable income,
Mm.
how many hours being flown and whatnot, typically banks don't like them.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
So I think from a maintenance point of view, engineers point of view, pilot point of view, I think the demand will be quite good. I guess for studio units, room rental, things like co-living, I think Kelana Jaya, Ara Damansara Belt will continue to do well, especially with news coming up.
So I just flew yesterday. The airport I got lost in Subang Airport. Like so small, so I got lost. They just improved the whole thing. So very cool observation.
So yeah, I think it's gonna help. And personally, I like to fly from Subang more than KLIA.
We
Right?
are blessed to be working here. KLIA can, Subang can. Wow.
Yeah. So
I thought you saw we can end the night earlier, but I don't think so.
I was telling the team, yeah, today we can end 12 o'clock.
You wish. You wish.
Yeah, I talked to Christina. Today you can end 12 o'clock.
So this week I will enter Batman mode. No?
Batman.
Okay, continue.
Sorry.
Okay, so let's continue the discussion on Airbnb. Just wanted to make some insight lah. So I do a Airbnb study also in Kelana Jaya and Ara Damansara area. Just see how in tier 2 area Airbnb still work or not. So I would say the insight is actually quite interesting. So for Ara Damansara, where we talk about, it's more towards like homestay, right? Basically the listing in Ara Damansara actually quite less lah. It's about 30 to 40 listing only, and nearer towards overseas corporate park area lah. Then if in Kelana Jaya you have more surrounding your paradigm where you have more unit listing. It's close about Kelana Jaya, it has about 70 to 80 or close to 100. But if we're looking about occupancy in Kelana Jaya, the highest occupancy can go up to close to 80%, making a annual revenue about 70,000. The rate is not cheap as well. It's about 250. So for the one that I do segregation yang for Kelana Jaya, those closer towards the Paradigm Mall and a bit further from Paradigm Mall, maybe nearest close to High Park Suites area. Because I just wanted to see whether mall as the attractions in this area will actually make a difference or not in terms of your daily rate. Yes, Yihan.
Revenue is annual.
Yes,
How do you?
and annual revenue. So they go by their occupancy, their daily rate, how many days they open up this listing in the platform, and they got the revenue for annual. Satu month tak mungkin lah. Okay, so it's the annual revenue based on their days they operate, put up in the listing, and also their daily rate. So if you can see Kelana Jaya, those closest to Paradigm Mall, their rate is about 250 or even close up to 350. If you ask for more like 320, 350, your occupancy will actually be lower lah. Because average in this area is about 250 to 300 per night. for 2 to 3 bedroom. Current occupancy on average, not talking about those very high occupancy, okay, is about 55 to 60%. So if you're talking about further away, we have High Park, closest to High Park Street area, you might have a higher occupancy, can go up to 80, but your rate is actually low. So over this area, maybe it's more towards a price war area. So daily rate is nothing above 200. There are some listing is about 220, but their occupancy can be quite low, about 35% only, making about 10,000 revenue for the whole year. So actually, if you can see comparing the occupancy and the daily rate for the one at Kelana Jaya, Paradigm Mall is actually the center of the gravity or attractions for this tier 2 area, because tier 2 area is not like KLCC, Bukit Bintang or TRX, where you have actually a lot of tourist attraction. So just wanted to see how Airbnb perform this area. Some of it actually perform quite well, but it depends on the prices you go. So those a bit further from mall, so you still have listing over there, but the prices of it is low lah. It's about 200 only, nothing more than that lah. So for Ara Damansara area, there's still some listing, but you can see regardless of it, closest to Oasis or mall, not mall lah. So it's like LRT central of it, but the rate actually very low. It can be as low as 100 for one night in this area. You can get some with actually quite good occupancy, but revenue wise is still low. The highest is about the 23,000. This is the highest that actually I found lah in the whole listing, about 40 listing, 30 plus listing. The highest is about 23,000. Other than that, is making actually quite low, 7,000, 8,000. It's not really very in high demand for Airbnb in this own state area, and I can say actually not much attractions comparing to Paradigm Mall. But just this Airbnb cannot compare to those tier 1 which you have tourist attraction lah. Just for fun discussion where we wanted to see how Airbnb can perform in this area, whether those closer to a mall will actually make a difference in terms of their rate, revenue, and occupancy comparing to those further away. If talking about an area like Ara Damansara, what people talk about is more towards old stay, how or can Airbnb be done in this area, and how's the performance? You can see the occupancy is actually quite okay, but in terms of revenue in the whole year, it's actually very low. 23, 15, close to 20,000, as low as 7,000, 5,000, 6,000 also have in the whole year, So let's say you take about average about 15,000, divide by 12 months in the year, is about 1,000 plus only.
But
it's not being covered in your normal whole unit rental.
But is it the mall? Like, I'm now suspecting, right, the gravity, it's not the mall. I think it's the university.
Actually, this listing you look a bit towards, right? But everything actually is close. Is like
The mall
name
lah.
actually the mall one is Azure. That's closest to the mall one. Actually, more of it is not because of the university. Some of it is High Park is lower lah. Actually, this is almost more towards High Park, but actually, yeah, if I click all here, because it's too, I cannot make it like very small, right? So I actually make it big. So that's why the dot actually jalan a bit sikit. But more for the place that actually, even in High Park, they also put Paradigm Mall as the attraction in the listing also to get more people in for their Airbnb.
Why would people stay Airbnb for a mall?
When I went to because when I went to Paradigm, right, besides Azure, and we have Le Meridian Award in the area, so probably it's as middle
It's an
class
alternative to Le Meridian. That's why people rent there.
Yes.
I think
That's alternatives towards it.
I think number one, from a commercial activity point of view, right? The Paradigm Mall has got the best mall of all of Kelana Jaya and Ara Damansara combined, right? So from a mall point of view, is there. Essen, I think, is also a grade A offices. right? And there's a reason why I think Lee Meridian decided to put a brand over there. Lah. And apparently Lee Meridian is doing very well. I think per night rate minimum is about 400 plus. Peak season can be all the way to 600, right? For a small 400 square foot in Lee Meridian. I think doing very, very well. Right, from a hotel point of view. So, yeah, if you're asking why, I think combination of a couple of things. Number one, I think the highest occupancy is coming from, I think, both the Azure side and High Park. High Park, I think, is catering to your Kelana Jaya weekend crowd, cousin, tourists, maybe daily boyfriend, girlfriend check-in, also got, right? So, we've got clients who had units over there, and they are doing very well from a short-term, medium-term, long-term rental. All form of rental over there seems to be able to go and get break-even. Right? So Kelana Jaya used to be a Malay-dominated area. It's no longer the case as of today. Right? It's pretty mixed. So I think you got pretty decent Chinese food there, and I'm a big fan of Kelana Jaya. My ex-girlfriend's house used to be at Kelana Jaya, which is why I'm very familiar with the High Park route, right? So
too much information, but okay.
yeah. So from a Melayu point of view, there's a lot of good food in Kelana Jaya. Right? So one of the best Chinese food you can find, halal Chinese food, is in Kelana Jaya. Right? So good Indian food, good Malay food. So there's a lot of options. In fact, when we entered High Park many years ago, we didn't know the demand is going to be so strong. Right? Which is why right now, I think I want to bring our operators of Believe and Utopia, both Shane and Keith, to just share a little bit, because I think we've shared, right? The long-term rental, Kelana Jaya is winning. Short-term rental, the Kelana Jaya is winning too, right? So now let's look at co-living and room rental, and then maybe we can hear a little bit more insights from our two operators, right? Shane and Keith, are you guys there? Come hop in, join the discussion.
Hello. For these sessions, right, actually, I actually get my data analyst to really pull out certain data. And you know what? Okay, honestly, I look at data every day, and I didn't really go into a lot of areas of data to look at it. And basically, I look at condos data, right? And when I really go down to areas, and today it caught me a surprise. I always thought Ara Damansara has more leads than Kelana Jaya. And today when I'm looking at, I always thought Ara Damansara, because back then I do have a lot, because we operate a lot of our co-livings in Ara Damansara area compared to Kelana Jaya area back then, right? So then I thought never mind, then I said close one eye, so I know Ara Damansara is winning already in terms of the leads number.
For context, people, Keith runs Believe. Right, so Believe is one of the largest co-living operator and room rental operator in the country. So we say he looks at data 50, 60 different areas per day. So no joke lah. So before people confuse what data, what are you talking about, right? So Keith runs Believe, right? Shane runs Utopia. Right, so Keith, go ahead, continue. So, but I can say this with certainty lah. I think a lot of people seem to think maybe lah, because Kelana Jaya has got a Malay name. Kelana Jaya is a Malay area. So it's not like Ara Damansara. Ara Damansara, neutral name. Nice neutral name. Kelana Jaya is a very Melayu punya nama,
That's why you don't say Kelana Jaya, you sebut KJ. You always say KJ. If you say Kelana Jaya to prospect, you say
right.
KJ.
So it doesn't sound glamorous, you see. So, but go ahead, Keith. You were saying you were shocked at your finding.
I was shocked with my finding because Kelana Jaya leads, because I'm looking at the September data, right? And Kelana Jaya, in fact, has, I would say, 50% higher than Ara Damansara.
Boom. Yeah. So leads wise, right? So interest wise in your system, Kelana Jaya has got 50% more
Than Ara Damansara.
What about occupancy rate?
occupancy rate both at around, okay, because Ara Damansara right now, the one that I'm operating is about 75%. And the one in Kelana Jaya is at about 75%. The one in Ara Damansara at around 80%. So let's ignore the marginal of the 5%. So I will put it as around the same.
Right. But interest-wise is 50% higher.
50% higher. It has more demand
I
in
see.
Kelana Jaya.
Any other insights you want to share about these two areas?
Pricing.
What about pricing?
For pricing, Kelana Jaya,
Far more
Kelana
higher.
Jaya, yes. But Ara Damansara not too bad though. Ara Damansara, people who are asking for a medium room, which is, I call it not an attached bathroom, a normal queen size bedroom. The demand was actually putting in they're putting in their budget around 1,200.
Ara Damansara.
Ara Damansara.
Man, that's quite good.
Yes. I didn't really run through like more insight, but I'm just looking purely at the data per se. This is good compared to Kelana Jaya, and also maybe this is also the reason why, because Kelana Jaya in averagely the demand was actually putting at around 800 over 1,000, 800 ringgit up to about 1,000 ringgit for a medium room per se.
Which development are you speaking about specifically?
So, okay, you are talking about Ara or you're talking about KJ?
Ara and KJ.
Ara, we are looking at Ara Tray Pala.
Ara 3 and Perla lah. Okay.
Ara Tray Pala.
LRT guys lah.
Mm-hmm.
The one with LRT connectivity lah.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. What about KJ?
KJ, we are looking at Azo and Sapphire.
Got it.
Yeah.
Right. You're non-LRT lah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that's the little bit of insight that I'm getting over here right now.
Okay. What about your side, Shane? At Utopia?
So I think it's quite a polar opposite when it comes to gift for Belief. So Belief quite a long time in terms of Ara Damansara. But for Utopia, we are good in Kelana Jaya. So I think we have been operating since 2021 there. And for someone who's controlling the rental and everything and so on, it's definitely can see a lot of improvement, especially for High Park Suites example. I remember we start renting our studios around 1,300. And as of today, it's already we can reach around 1,700 for the same studio. And it's already like, it's gone out to several years already, but you can still go for a higher punya price. So for the same skyscraper and everything, same goes to the master bedroom. At Azure, I think we have reached highest rental around 1,350 for a master bedroom. It's almost the same price as a studio bed in 2022 in Kelana Jaya. So even though the master bedroom was renting out quite high price, but we are still able to get a high occupancy rate, meaning that the demand is always there. Even though it's a rooms that is shared, you are renting around 1,300, sharing with 3 to 4 others people in one unit, you still can get that amount of range. And tenants are happy staying there because they know that the value of that developments and everything and so on. And it have been compared to, we also operate in RR3, and also in terms of the demand wise, I will say when it comes to medium or high end, Kelana Jaya definitely have the much more advantage market compared to. So meaning that if I will say budget punya tenants, that we prefer go to RR3, which is Ara Damansara. This is based on for observation for the past 2 to 3 years. So yeah.
Meaning you, if you know budget, you move to Ara Damansara.
Yes. Technically, from tenant point of view.
Wow.
Because
Sean's face, I cannot believe it.
because
Totally opposite from mine.
Okay, so because why? Because usually for those who are staying in Kelana Jaya, okay, us are located in a high-end punya area, which is I would say in the high end of the T2, which is the Paradigm area, and also for the High Park area. Usually for those who are staying there, they are most likely working surrounding the area. So meaning they are not depending on any transportation wise or everything and so on. They are looking for convenience. So compared to Ara Damansara, we have tenants that are willing to walk from Ara Damansara for RR3 towards to the LRT, and because even though they have our medium room is also almost 900 and 1,000 there. So meaning it's not that cheap lah. Okay, when we say budget a bit, not that budget lah. But in terms of the budget, in terms of transportation wise, so yeah.
And of course, both sides got shuttle to LRT. So whether you stay in Paradigm side or you stay next to the LRT, you're still gonna have access to both. And the shuttle to LRT, I think, is quite fast. I think every 10-15 minutes there'll be one bus coming, if I'm not mistaken, to bring people to LRT station. What's your occupancy rate, Ashin? And then there's a question, who are the tenants for Kelana Jaya?
I think our Azure and Sapphire has always been on average 90% occupancy rate for always, I would say. So that has always been previously. And in terms of the tenants wise, I would say 30% are foreigners, 70% are locals. And when it comes to what we call this is definitely a high-end punya professions lah. So it's not just a random punya people.
Okay. I think disclaimer lah, because what Keith is reporting and what you are reporting, Shane, is terbalik. So anyway, I mean, to clarify, Utopia data is coming from Far Capital Unit. So Far Capital Unit has got different slight advantage. Number one, we buy the units cheaper compared to what the developers are selling lah. So as you can tell, we also get greater cashback. So with the greater cashback that our buyers is getting, they also do better renovation. So we control the quality of the units, which is why it's not difficult to get better quality tenants, because when your unit is nicer, you attract better quality tenants. Right? So that's one lah. Number two here is that, I mean, you don't forget lah, the Paradigm Mall itself is a business center. You got a convention center and hotel room in Lee Meridian, whereby you do conferences and all of that, right? And you got a grade A office in Essen, right? So the most amazing thing for me is that there was a Chinese electric company, a car company, that basically decided to rent 2 floors in Essen, lock in the tenancy, now looking to get 15 to 20 units of Azure and Sapphire for their middle level management to stay medium term. Couldn't find units. Right? So these are tenants who are basically, if you work at Essen, your best choice is not going to be Perla or Ara3 lah, for sure lah. Does that make sense? So your Sapphire and Azure has got a bit of an unfair advantage because it's part of the locale of Paradigm, right? You got the office, you got the hotel. So all of that combined gives it a little bit of an edge lah. I'm happy to hear lah, RR3 master bedroom can fetch 1,002 because, well, we are in 5 different projects in the area, right? So and anything which is goodbye, we are there lah. I think that one you guys know already. And I don't think anyone has bought cheaper units than RR3 compared to Far Cap clients. And like I said lah, today I don't hear any complaints. Occupancy rate is above 80%, I think, on both sides. So I think people are doing quite well. So I think this cluster of whereby the Paradigm side, together with the one nearby Ara Damansara LRT, both are thriving, except that I think the tenant profile is very different. The one in Ara Damansara nearby LRT are, I think, what people who take LRT to go to work. Kind of like crowd. So you work elsewhere, right?
Yes, agree.
Yeah, you work elsewhere. You work KLCC, you work Petronas, you take LRT, you go to work, right? All the way straight to KLCC. Right? So while the profile of people who are renting nearby High Park, right? Nearby Azure or Sapphire, or this side of Kelana Jaya, their central of gravity is within the Kelana Jaya PJ itself. So 2 different animals, 2 different target segments. But anyhow, location-wise, both are good. If you enter the right price point, you make money lah. Right. So anything else to share, guys? Shane and Keith from a co-living, occupancy rate, room rental rate. So right now, highest master bedroom is 1,350, is it, Shane?
Azul.
Azure, okay. And studio in High Park now, the 200 square foot is about 1,600.
1,007.
1,007,
Yeah.
right? And Keith, your side master bedroom is going for how much in Ara Damansara?
1250.
1,250. Outstanding. Right, outstanding. Right, outstanding. Well, very happy lah for the people who bought lah at the right price point. Right. I wonder I wonder if you guys have got any data on Arcus or Sunway Serene, especially you, Keith.
I actually run co-living in Sunway Serene too.
Okay. So how's the demand, by the way?
The demand.
Wait, right? If you have we brought people who are running this show, right? Then you can get real insight, right? So this is like phenomenal stuff, lah. This thing you cannot get elsewhere, one. Let's put Keith on the spot. How? Serene.
Okay, Serene is actually doing well. Actually, Serene is doing well. Let's say if we're looking at that area itself, and we're looking at high-rise building. Actually, there's not much of options as other than Icon or what's the latest project by the Globe Map? I don't know what's the project already.
Plaza Jaya, is it?
Yeah, Plaza Kelana Jaya. So let's say today you are like either you choose between Icon, you want to choose with Sunway Serene, and then a lot of tenants that actually because back then we didn't manage Icon yet, and then we managed Sunway Serene, and Sunway Serene was doing good. I would say we have every single viewing that we made, it actually we're able to close due to the facility. The facility was outstanding.
It's very nice, lah, and the view too, lah.
Yes. We got to close it because of facility, lah, for Sunway Serene.
What's the price point for rooms?
The same with okay. Can I tell a little bit of a joke here? Just a quick one. I actually advise my client not to do co-living.
In Sunway Serene.
In Sunway Serene. I actually advise my client not to do some co-living. Because I told my clients, I say, hey, in fact, that the based on all the listing platform on the online, I say by doing co-living, by having 100%, you're able to make slightly higher, like I would say about 400, 500 higher than doing as a whole unit rental. Then I say, might as well rent it as a whole unit. And then end of the day, our clients do it is just because they just say, Keith, I trust you and all this thing, just do that. But in fact, if you really were to ask me, Sunway Serene, I will go for whole unit. I'll go for whole unit.
That's basically saying co-living doesn't make sense, room rental doesn't make sense, in Serene.
No, it doesn't make sense.
Sunway Serene is actually like, because Kelana Jaya, some of it's like Paradigm, closest more. Sunway Serene is a bit far, further.
No lah, not far lah.
Cannot say very close lah. It's a bit not very close to commercials, but they are selling Sunway product because of the facilities, the view, the lake, as more towards an Wednesday. That's why my actually I wanted to ask, is it because of this? That's why you have less tenant prospect for co-living. That's why you actually advise your client to go for whole unit, because actually whole unit also can fetch quite good. Okay,
actually co-living, if you double check, right, whole unit in Sunway Serene actually can fetch more than 3,000 and above. It's similar like the mega rise. Mega rise. So today, if you do a calculation of 3 rooms plus another, let's say 3 rooms plus another 1 rooms, the rental yield after doing 4 rooms rented out is actually about the same. It is not much of differences there. Not much. So then that's why I say the demand is there. The leads are there a lot. And even until now, after I 100% occupied, the leads are still coming in. It's just that in terms of the yield per room, it's not as sexy compared to the price that you bought compared to the price that you buy. First thing first. Yeah.
I'm
I
looking
think
at
LB, yeah.
I'm looking at data by master is about 1,002, medium is about 900, small room is about 750 lah. Right? So this is basically Korea Sunny Serena, which is comparable to what you see in Sapphire and Azure. Potentially even lower lah, basically. I would say about 10 to 15% lower. Largely because of the location lah. So
Yes.
I guess you're right lah. If these are the numbers, it doesn't make sense lah, because right now it's losing to your Perla and Ara Trade.
Yes.
Right? And Perla
Yes.
and Ara Trade is a lot cheaper. And the layout is a lot more co-living friendly lah, room rental friendly compared to Sunway Serene, which is a luxury product that wasn't designed to go do room rental. So in a way, guys, so the reason why I'm asking, because part of 7 criteria is that we have this thing called multiple rental option. So what does multiple rental option mean? You have to buy property with a lot of rental option to make money. Because if plan A fail, you go plan B. Plan B fail, go plan C. Right? So in the case of, for example, like Sunway Serene, you can see here, the co-living doesn't make much sense. Right? So which means you are basically can do only long-term rental. And even long-term rental, I don't think you can get break even as of today. It will still be roughly about 5% saja. Right? So that's where. Any data on ARCUS, Keith?
I'm still collecting. There's nothing solid as of now.
Okay. Okay. Right. So no data on ARCUS, as far as room rental is concerned.
Yeah. So far, I'm still collecting. I'm still collecting it.
Because, typically Exim property seems to be doing quite well elsewhere. So it remains to be seen whether in this particular area they are competitive or not. Because unfortunately, from a location point of view, they are really neither here nor there. Right? They are not walkable to LRT, if I recall correctly. They are also not walkable to Paradigm. Huh?
Can see the LRT but cannot walk.
Can see lah. So I'm not sure can see LRT is a selling point ever. Right? So it remains to be seen from a room rental point of view. Will ARCUS make it or not? Right? And whole unit rental also for ARCUS, I don't know whether it's going to be high enough. And I think from a rental point of view, I think ARCUS is what? How many percent, LB?
I think it's about close to 4.8, 4.9 lah. Actually, not much also because of the location itself lah. And also the surrounding is like out of nowhere among the commercial shop lots at below. Yeah.
So guys, moral of the story here is that if you're looking to buy something for investment, make sure you understand the USP. Right? For your Azure, Sapphire, right, High Park, is your access to the commercial areas and your access to Paradigm Mall. For Perla and Ara 3, it's very clear, right, is your access to LRT. If you have neither, in the case of ARCUS and in the case of Sunway Serene, that's where, for example, the demand side on both rental and your option of rental actually go down by quite a lot. Right? Because the most basic thing as an investor here is that if you want to be safe as an investor, you want to buy property with multiple rental options that can get to break even. Right? Common sense, guys. Right? You got plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. If you get 3 or 4 rental options, you cannot die one. You sure gonna be okay one. But if your property only got 1 rental option, that rental option koyak, then you suffer a little bit right? Keith, Shane, thank you so much, guys, for participating. I guess we're gonna see you guys back in Q&A. Albi, continue. So in a nutshell, for rental option, I think for Airbnb becomes very, very clear. There's not much demand for Ara Damansara yet. Right? At least on the last 12 months, it's quite terrible compared to Kelana Jaya. So long-term rental option, Kelana Jaya is winning. Room rental option, Utopia side, Kelana Jaya is winning. From Belief side, Ara Damansara is winning. Right? So I guess it's a tie. Short term, very clear. Ara Damansara has got very little to no demand compared to Kelana Jaya. Right? So anything else to share, LB?
I think on my side, I guess it's clear. I just put this Airbnb just for fun to see how Airbnb perform in tier two, whether it's like can do or not. If can do, how is the occupancy, how's the rate as comparing to tier one? But it seems that still some of it still doable. Okay, it just depends on the rate and the occupancy lah. Some of you can be very low, but your revenue on total year actually very quite low lah. Okay, that's all from Airbnb. So I move to the one this is the better for today in KJ and also Ara Damansara area. So in Ara Damansara area, there's actually quite number of under constructions, and also there's few empty lands also to be developed in future, I guess. But in Kelana Jaya, as per discussion in our border for SS7 and SS6 today, actually no upcoming under construction other than okay the giant that is being bought over. Where they're going to demolish. They say they're going to be a mixed development of office tower and residential units, but about like what kind of layout, what kind of price point, what's the name of or the giant development area is not being announced. So as for now, in Kelana Jaya tak ada lah. So we are going to take some completed and unsold unit in Kelana Jaya for discussion in the area. So let's move to Ara Damansara. First one, you have Amara Residence. This is opposite Chita Mall. So it's a freehold, completed about 2028 and selling about 780 per square feet. So just now I say Kelana Jaya have big size, right? So Amara Residence or Ara Damansara also come with big layout, but the size wise still smaller, about 1,000 to 1,001, but they come with 4 bedrooms. This is Amara Residence. This is opposite Chita Mall. Then the next one we have Try Ara by Sai Dabi, close to Lotus Hypermarket. So this one is also a freehold. Something to highlight here is Try Ara actually built on a 5 acre of land. So density wise actually very low dense. Completion is about 2026, come with big size as well, 1,002 to 1,008, 3 to 4 bedroom, which is cater for more towards own stay, come with big size already. And also per square feet wise, it's actually cheap. I cannot say cheaper, affordable. It's actually comparing in Ara Damansara, the new launches that we're looking at. If you are buying as a Boomi, it's about 630 per square feet. So yeah, as a non-Boomi, it's about 680 per square feet. And if you will want to buy Try Ara today. So they come with boardwalk, co-working spaces, multi-purpose hall, pool and gym. But something to highlight is because this is, I would say, very low density because the size they're going to build is 5 acre. So, but it's close towards Lotus, not close towards like Chita Mall or Ara Damansara LRT stations. Okay, so next one is Pinnacle, which is going to connect to upcoming RRT3. They're going to build cover walkway and also still connected, not connected, but still walkable to LRT Lembah Subang. It's a leasehold, about 1,002 units. Completion is about 2027, 42 stories. So this one is more to, I would say, more towards investment, because looking at their size, they even come out with dual key and also small size, because they are looking to target those investment for like working adults. They wanted to access towards RRT. If you either work in Shah Alam, Klang, or work in Bukit Bandar Utama. So this is more towards investment, looking at their size. So if you're about to buy for today, the net per square feet is about 680 to 700 per square feet. If I'm not mistaken, when they are launched, their price was about 630 per square feet for a Pinnacle. So next one, we have Myra Park as well, low dense freehold, but big sizes. It's a different concept. It's actually, most of it is duplex unit, and also big size, come with penthouse as well. Completion about 2026, selling about 780 per square feet. So among all of the new launches, this is one of the highest per square feet, comparing to Amara Residence also, which is selling more or less the same prices. So this is about Ara Damansara. So we move towards Arcus in Kelana Jaya. It's a leasehold. Layout size, like as usual, Exim product is about small size, small layout, about 753 square feet for 2 bedroom. For 3 bedroom is about 950. So it's already completed. Today asking about 800 per square feet. So they come with sky pool and sky garden. But Arcus location wise is I would say at the front part of Kelana Jaya. You can see the LRT station, but it's not walkable. It's not close to Paradigm Mall also. Okay, so next one we have Sunway Serene, which is lower down, more closest to Icon City area. It's a leasehold as well. Layout size, I will say quite spacious. For 2 bedroom is about 900 square feet. They come with big sizes also, 1,005 or even 1,007. Some is dual key one. It's also completed, but Sunway Serene will have future phases adjacent to this product itself. So today is about 780 per square feet. So if you have visited or saw some video in YouTube, actually Sunway Serene facilities actually, I would say, very, very nice. And also their concept is actually, I would say all the product in Kelana Jaya cannot beat Sunway Serene punya facility products. It's actually a different spec and different level. This is why when Keith shared about the co-living, then he say actually, he would suggest the owner to go for whole unit rental, because at this price point, most of the tenants or owner actually would prefer running a whole unit. Still also have demands. They still can make money from like whole unit because of their price point that they're asking for, the facility they are going for. So the next one we have Panorama. This is close to LRT Glen Mary. It's a freehold as well, completed in 2022. Net per square feet is about 720 per square feet. So size wise, I would say it's at the average square feet size, about 750 for 2 bedroom. For a 3 bedroom, it's about 1,000. Cannot say very big size in Kelana Jaya that can go up to 1,005, 1,007, but Panorama come with a standard small size. Cannot say small, just a standard average size for Panorama. But this selling attraction or USP for this is because it's close to Glen Mary stations. So this is Panorama. The next one is High Park Suites. Selling about today about 910 per square feet. Come with very, very small size. You can get a 1 bedroom about 452 square feet. 2 bedroom, some is dual key, about 600 square feet. So big size is about 840 for 2 bedroom duplex. But in terms of price wise, I would say in Kelana Jaya, he's asking actually at a higher price point, is about 900. And when Zairi share about transaction, High Park is the only one transacted more than 1,000 in Kelana Jaya. Okay, so but facilities wise, I would say so at level 7, not much. Swimming pool, gym, multi-purpose, quite standard. So Sapphire Paradigm, this is opposite Paradigm Mall, completed in 2018. Comparing to all those that we are comparing today, this is one of the oldest in the new completion lah. So in size wise, we come with big size. So their 2 bedroom is about 1,000. 3 bedroom or 4+1 or 3+1 is 1,005. For 4+1 is about 1,007. So they have 4+1. If I've visited the unit also, so they actually have another small room, like mid room at behind. You have to go out from the yard, then only you see the room. Selling today, net some bulk purchase group also get a cheaper price point. Today is about 600 per square feet. You can get it. So facility wise, we come with rooftop pool and gym, badminton court. I would say the USP for Sapphire actually because of the Sapphire, because of Paradigm Mall, which is actually opposite towards it. So this is low then also about 230 units. Okay, that's all for the comparison. So let me bring all the panelists to see what's their point of view for this Ara Damansara and also Kelana Jaya Battle Royale today.
One observation, one observation, like in PJ, the commercial area difference is very, very high. Like, just so happen we are discussing about the Paradigm Mall, which is like when Faizul said about it's the best mall there, the most complete one with the office and all. But then when you see so many other areas of commercial lots, like right behind like Zenith, all those kind of thing, right? All the commercial, all not working, right?
Yeah.
All like dead town, right? Then the Ara Damansara one, there's one called right next to the LRT one just now also. I forgot what's the name. The toilet is actually in glass wall one.
Evolve concept.
No, one more. So if you go to your chart just now, right? Although it's connected to the LRT, the commercial area is still dead. Yeah, so it's after Kantara go down a bit.
Eve Suite, no?
Eve Suite, yes, Eve Suite. So Eve Suite room rental still okay, but for the LRT connected point of view, right, it's not good.
In Ara Damansara, the LRT like doesn't make like or add any effects to the area. It's just like Pela is because of his new, but it's the best one is about because the small size 5.33. But other than that, comparing new and old, even though they have Ara Damansara and also Lembah Subang LRT station, but their UI-wise actually not much difference. So
Yeah, but
not helping.
So instead of all the, I think in terms of the residential, I think we all know kind of going to see the answer already after discussion, right? But now I'm just very curious, right? With LRT also in PJ area, in Ara Damansara area, you will still die on it.
No, because I guess it's because Ara Damansara more towards like own stay one. But if you take Glen Mary intersection where you can go to Kelana Putra line, then it will be slightly better. This is why Justify Panorama also make quite good yield in Kelana Jaya area comparing to Ara Damansara area as for today. Yeah.
Yeah, just some thought when before Faizul came in just now.
So we are going to take pass back the floor to Faizul to chart this better for this Ara Damansara and also Kelana Jaya. So maybe
do we do it together or do we do it
I guess it's better with and fair if we separate area lah. Ara Damansara we pick one and also KJ we pick one. If you mix two area, then it depends on your choice whether you're going for own stay or an investment value.
Then it's not going to help, see. People watch this video, right? Because they wanted what to buy. Yeah. So.
I'll be now kaya, want to buy one for own stay, one for investment.
Yeah lah. Not everyone like you lah. Not everyone like you will be got money one.
I go down the table later one.
Okay, Shane, you beli mana dulu?
Azul
tak ada dalam ni.
Tak ada lah.
Oh, this is the two lah. I think can pass to others first lah. Let me study a bit. But I think if on stay, Sunway Serene is a very good place. Cannot deny lah. On stay, not for investment.
On stay. I think if we talk about investment first, right? So investment first, I think on stay will be quite subjective. I think my general view on Sunway Serene is the nicest product there, but it's really neither here nor there. While it's peaceful with the lake view and the nice facilities, it's still next to the highway.
Temporarily.
The factories.
And next to the factories. So I don't know whether I can come to term with that. Being, those kind of price point of above 1 million ringgit. Right? For that noise.
And going to still have under construction future phases.
So I don't know if I can do it. I don't like to go neither here nor there, right? So for me, I mean the most straightforward option here, because the fire is the cheapest, and you guys know lah, I buy the cheapest. I also believe that it has got the best location. So either the nearest to the LRT for me, or you are nearest to the job hotspot. So in this plethora of options, number one, I will buy completed property, because if I buy under construction, I have to wait 3 to 4 years before I can make any money. And the bull run will most likely have peaked, right? Which means there's a lot of opportunity cost for me. right? So I'm gonna go with Sapphire simply because it's the cheapest there from a per square foot point of view as of today. It's got a rooftop pool. In my opinion, it has got the best location, right? Not walkable to LRT, but feeder bus to LRT, but it's next to the office towers at the mall. And I think the rental yield is the highest too. So for both own stay and investment, this is gonna be my bet. So yeah. Normally I ask you guys to go first, right? But today I go first because I want to makan. Hungry. So yeah. Keith, which one do you buy? Keith tadi pergi toilet.
Tadi saya pergi toilet. If you really ask me, okay, Faisal, I don't know because also I saw a lot of comments saying that to replicate there's no anchor tenant in Essen, right? In Essen office, the one in Paradigm. In fact, a lot of people got it wrong. Actually, in Essen office, one of the largest I would say FMCG distributor DKSH. The DKSH office back then, the entire piece of land was being demolished and now become the Ryan Miho. So the entire big office there, they moved to Essen. So there are a lot of anchors, there are a lot of potential buyer and tenants for Sapphire and also the Azure because it's in Essen, right?
The other thing I probably have to point out which other area in the whole of PJ, Damansara, all the way to TDI, Grade A office with mall, and still reasonably priced from a rental point of view. I don't think that many.
Closest is Tropicana City, the old one. Now is what Damansara 3.
The
Tropics.
Tropics.
Tropics. Now 3 Damansara, I think.
Yeah, no, but just now back to the first statement, right? The mall also not doing very good. Then you have Glow Damansara who just dead. And then A3 also. Then you have a Japanese mall in PG also that nobody know exists. Yeah, very true. But okay, let me go, right? I think I will go Sapphire because I visited and I will go the biggest unit, the 4-bedroom unit. And I will pick the one facing the back, not the front. The front, the highway noise, quite intimidating lah. And the I don't know why the curtain wall system there doesn't work. Technically with curtain wall it would be noise proof, but there I don't know. But I will pick the one facing the residential side behind the highway, but it needs to be above level 18. So I will pick that.
Larry?
Alright, my take is clear cut is Sapphire as well. Probably because of the price point. For new developments in Kelana Jaya and Ara is 800 plus per square foot. But here you're looking at 600 ringgit per square foot only. And the spec is completed. The spec is really meant for homestay and it's not luxury.
It's actually very high.
Yeah.
It's meant for a hotel one, isn't it? It's supposed to be escort level.
Yeah, you see the timber flooring, see all the brand of the whiteware and all. So yeah, really a high spec. You can't really get this for 600 ringgit per square foot.
But you need to live with the curved wall.
Yeah.
The curved wall is one big thing.
But good that the window is quite huge. So yeah, I can still live with it.
I'm actually surprised, Sean, you picked the one facing the back. I quite like the KLCT skyline.
Noisy, unless it's...
I get it lah. Yeah.
Well, the facility, right, is huge. But at the facility, right, I cannot do my recording at the facility. It's that bad.
Because the noise.
You close all the windows, is all okay, right? There's no balcony.
I technically speaking should maybe there was a defect in the unit that I visit.
I think I remember the sound resolution is pretty okay. It's way above average, but it wasn't sound.
It's not 100% also.
Yeah. So never mind, get me over guys to do a 3D installation of the speakers. Then pasang lah lagu hujan kan every time you masuk kan.
But Faizul should pick the one with the skyline one.
Yeah.
But tenants, tenants then they pay more.
Unblock LCC view, and then the one facing the back is facing the west, bro.
I know.
Yeah. So the one at the back, unblock Shah Alam, Subang. Golf course. Actually quite nice too lah.
Hey, they're very obvious. I always pick golf course. You always pick city view.
Quite lah. We always argue. LB, What would you pick?
Pick Sapphire also. Looking at its sizes. In this area also doesn't come with a lot of big size. That's why Sapphire big sizes still able to make quite good yield, and also at the price point they are asking for today, and also the connectivity. And if I'm not mistaken, RT3 that's coming out, there will be a stations SS7 behind Paradigm Mall. So still can walk from Sapphire to walk to Paradigm Mall and go to the SS7 business stations. Where one station
explode.
but actually that area is very congested to go in peak hour. Yeah. So maybe the RT will help a little bit. So you don't really drive. Maybe interchange on one station to Glen Marie. If you wanted to go KL Central or the other RT line. Or then if you wanted to go MRT, then all the way down you go to Bandar Utama to MRT to interchange for Peak Sapphire.
Okay. Shane, Keith.
I thought I already made my vote. I definitely go for Sapphire because I look at okay. If you really ask me, I will go for those who really be in the co-living cell. Everywhere that has huge opportunity of job opportunity, I will go there because that guarantees demand.
Yeah. And I think you got colleges too around Kelana Jaya, right? So not only you got the job, you also got colleges. And today
Yes.
college students also quite atas, parents all rich. So renting $1,000 per room per month is
Me.
Yeah.
no problem. Okay, Shane, last one. You.
Yeah, I think in terms of looking at the price per square feet, definitely it's a no-brainer lah, Sapphire.
That's why I don't like to go first.
If budget is not a problem, I will go try Ara. Just because I've been there. And the buyers there buys in generation one. Father buy one, sister buy one, brother buy one.
Try Ara.
Try Ara in Ara
Damansara.
Damansara side. Yeah. So because now here because we all same brain. All look ROI, multiple rental option. That's why all criteria all leads to the same, right? But for the audience, right, I die don't want KG, right? I die don't want KG. I want
own stay.
Own stay one, right? Then it's like Serene versus Try Ara.
I also pick that. Serene, Sime Darby and also Sunway product.
Both also atas public listed. Both also got design.
But it depends. Try Ara is lower density per acre. Sunway would be a bit higher density wise.
Yeah, I just want to bring more value to the audience. Like really like Ara Damansara, then when you say the airport there, I can believe. There's a sense of belief that it will change potential wise.
So I think for the benefit of everyone watching, the biggest surprise, right? For me, while we are doing this study, is that so far Ara Damansara is the only area whereby most of the new launches is selling cheaper compared to the new launches in the last 10 years. You guys notice the new launches in Ara Damansara is cheaper than your H2O, your Kantara and your Potpourri. Which I find it to be quite odd. So far, I've not seen any other area that does something similar. At least from a price per square foot is cheaper. Net price is also cheaper because they're now smaller units and whatnot. I agree with you guys. It's quite a rarity to see Sime Darby does not price its product as the most premium. If this were in Subang, it'd be at 1,002 per square foot already. Boom. And you're going to have people buy like the cheapest thing in the market, right? Because, so it's very interesting, right? And people are not clamoring, right? Because Ara Damansara. And historically speaking, not many people make money from high-rise in Ara Damansara. And I think the only people who actually make high-rise, make proper money in high-rise Ara Damansara, buying new, is probably people who buy the abandoned project called Mason by accident. Right? So that's the only surprise. Nonetheless, if you look at the median of new property in Ara Damansara, you will find it is above 700 ringgit per square foot. So, which comes to basically is the conclusion. And I think if you buy at 650 and below, the probability of you making money in either Kelana Jaya side or Ara Damansara will actually be quite high. Because you can see already, median of new property being transacted in both sides are above 700 ringgit per square foot. So I take it even further. I'm not even going to recommend 700 as an entry price. I say 650 if you want to make decent amount of money buying in either of the areas, right? Should be your target entry price. So some of the new launches in Ara Damansara today falls into that category. So the only downside is that you wait 3 to 4 years. So other than that, I think Ara Damansara is relatively affordable. I cannot believe I'm saying this in 2024. But it seems to me that Ara Damansara new launches are cheaper than Bukit Jalil.
Yeah, what I have a question like what do you think about an area which is already established, but their new launches actually, so if you see like for example the 3 Ara, right? It's next to Ara Greens. Ara Green is 800 plus per square foot. That's really literally next to it. Same developer, right? So
No, Ara Green is not.
okay, it's different now.
Standard.
It's a different developer, right? But probably it's the same spec because Ara Green is also high spec. 3 Ara as well. But it's really cheap for 3 Ara compared to Ara Green, 600 plus per square foot. So you really selling below than what your value giving.
My point of view, this one is legacy issue. Meaning last time when they buy, when they sell at a higher price where people bought already. So automatically that formed the bottom ceiling of your pricing moving forward. If you were to sell any lower, any cheaper, right? The first batch of buyer will come after you. Game over for a developer. And they don't want to talk to Par Capital, then nothing to talk about lah.
But there are demands in sub-sale, buying 800 plus per square foot.
Yeah, sub-sale then different.
Be...
Sub-sale then you cannot buy direct from developer.
So I think if you look at the transaction in Ara Green, from a velocity point of view, there's not much transaction, despite the askings about 800 ringgit per square foot, right?
Ara Green is the one, the weird punya layout.
Yeah.
Yeah, from a Chinese point of view, we won't buy that.
Oh, and
yeah,
then
14,
if you look at the size, Zairi, it's all 1,002, 1,005, 1,008. You times that by, let's say, average of 680 per square foot. It still translates to about almost 900,000 smallest unit. Not exactly cheap from a net price point of view. So, but from a price per square foot, it's cheap. Then obviously, they've got an unfair advantage of one of the earliest property developers in Ara Damansara. They bought the land very, very cheap at land. Well, this is similar to YNH lah, doing so last time, Dota Mas. They bought the land from Dana Harta next to nothing. So despite KL Metropolis being sold, let's say, for example, at close to 1,000 per square foot, they can afford to launch it at an average of 650 to 700 ringgit per square foot and still make decent money. Because your land cost is very low. Bit ironic, but I think Sam Dhabi today does not have the confidence to price high-rise at the premium, largely because they also have hundreds of millions of overhang today in completed high-rise, which is unsold. So today, I think Sam Dhabi is a lot more realistic launching high-rise. But from landed point of view, they can price anything they want and they will still got people buying. Yeah, there are Melawati, Superlink houses, 2 million, fully sold, 30 days.
Melawati meh? Or KL East KL East
KL East right. Except for Subang high-rise, the rest of the high-rise for Sam Dhabi not doing as well. Which is why I think they are taking the stand of, let me be a little bit more conservative. I think even their mixed development in Ara Damansara, the one with the high-rise below the shops, Oasis, right?
Oasis.
I think took them years to sell, man. I think took them 10 years, right? So I think they just don't dare to launch too expensive, especially for large size unit in areas like Ara Damansara.
I think if you think from because as I work in the development office, right? If I'm a marketing manager managing a mixed integrated project versus a marketing manager managing a landed project, the KPI is not fair one. So landed, no matter what you price, right, sold out in a week 2 months,
very fast on our day. Emotional decisions.
Yeah, but then if I was just designated in a mixed development project, my keep forever no bonus on my department because it's so hard to sell. But one thing just now just to mention, right? Only in Malaysia where developers don't price their project based on current land price, right? Because of different times of buying, like not like Singapore open bidding, you buy must develop within how many years. So all the property prices are a little bit more regular. Malaysia, suddenly you will find gems because you will have 30 years ago, something happened behind closed doors, you will have different deals, and developer will like, hey, I earn enough fine with it as long as I just exceed. So just for the audience to listen to this, why some can price higher, why can price low? They cheat money, they cut corners. It's all about the entry price to the land cost.
Very interesting. So basically, I guess for investment is quite unanimous. Everyone is voting for Sapphire lah, for obvious reason. Cheapest per square foot and highest rental per square foot too, right now, between anything that we are comparing. Right?
Instant return.
Instant return. And from a spec point of view, it's also the highest. Timber floor. I think it was designated for something like Escort back then. That was the spec it was built for. Very high. Okay, moving on before we move to Q&A.
So, okay, we go for summary.
Right.
So, boss will take part.
Okay, guys. So, summary for tonight, right? The presentation, right? For Ara Damansara versus Kelana Jaya. I think number one here is that today, rental above 5,000 has already exist in both sites. Number one, for rental above 5,000 ringgit in Ara Damansara has been asked in developments like Potpuri. And for Kelana Jaya today, we know Azure and Sapphire has recorded transactions of above 5,000 ringgit. Sunway Serene has got a lot of asking at above 5,000. So today, both area has got more than 5,000. Of course, Kelana Jaya has got upper hand lah, multiple development versus Ara Damansara, right? Now, number of transaction in Ara Damansara versus Kelana Jaya, Ara Damansara has got 50% higher transactions, right? Because the perception of Ara Damansara is a better area than Kelana Jaya. Ara Damansara make better investment than Kelana Jaya, right? Which is not true, but it goes to show when there's a lot of perception, a lot of emotional buyer, logic is out of the window. Okay. Now, rental yield, rental option is clearly better in Kelana Jaya. From room rental, which debatable is a draw, but long-term rental, short-term rental, Kelana Jaya clearly has got the upper hand. So rental yields in general is better in Kelana Jaya, whereby there's a lot of property that has got 5-6% rental yield in Kelana Jaya versus Ara Damansara, which between 4 to 5, right? So despite that, 50% of the transaction, right, happens, right, in Ara Damansara, again, largely to the emotional sentiment of Ara Damansara is a better area than Kelana Jaya. Numbers is very different. Fourth is that there's already transaction in PJ, Kelana Jaya specifically of above 1,000 per square foot, right? 1,000 per square foot. High Park today. Why? Don't know. Do we think High Park deserve it? I don't think so. Personally, I've been to the development. I don't think it's better than Sapphire, or Azure, or Sunway Serene. But yet transaction is like that. So we record as it is lah. In Ara Damansara, as of today, from a rental point of view, Ara 3 and Perla is the best performing property from a rental point of view. While in Kelana Jaya, as of today, is Sapphire, right? So Ara 3 and Perla is because nearest to LRT. Sapphire is because it's nearest to Paradigm Mall. Like I said, Kelana Jaya outperforms Ara Damansara, both short-term and long-term rental. Co-living now is a draw, right? Both areas got no major booster incoming other than the fact that maybe you can argue that Kelana Jaya has got LRT 3 coming in SS7, right? But again, if talking about major booster, neither lah, I would say. So median for new properties in both areas are above 700 ringgit per square foot, okay? Which explains why we go for Sapphire from an investment point of view. And if you want to stay somewhere, Ara Damansara, try Ara, makes sense. Because again, it's below 700 ringgit per square foot. And conclusion here is that if you enter at above 700 ringgit per square foot in these two areas in the last 10 years, you will actually find it very hard to make money. Because to my recollection of knowledge, there is no property in both Kelana Jaya and Ara Damansara today whereby if you paid above 700 ringgit per square foot in the last 10 years, you make positive cash flow or you make any capital gain of above 10%. Okay? So that's the summary. Now next. So in our POV, right, opportunities available today, right? Because like I said, no one makes money above 700 ringgit per square foot. So it makes sense to not pay 700 ringgit per square foot and above lah. So we think the best property to buy today is anything below 650 completed per square foot in both areas of Ara Damansara or Kelana Jaya. You want better cash flow, buy Kelana Jaya, right? And even for primary market, right? So good deal for completed 650, safe deal 650 and below in both areas, right? So these are where we think the opportunities are. So a little bit of histories in FACAP. We begin to buy this area since COVID happened. We actually bought into 5 different developments between Ara Damansara and Kelana Jaya. So we quite like the area. We're also very familiar with the area, right? This has been one of the best performing areas that we have bought at FACAP. The first property we have bought is a dual key unit whereby under a special loan, we only have to pay 1,006 for 2 studio units, right? And today the rental for both studio unit, you can fetch roughly about 3,004. So imagine paying 1,006 to the bank and you get rental of 3,004, right? Pretty sweet lah. Positive cash flow above 1,000. Again, this is in Kelana Jaya, right? We also bought a non-HDA property in Kelana Jaya below 400,000, right? So today rental yield on co-living is above 8% because it's again walkable to Paradigm Mall. Then we bought the cheapest rooftop pool luxury condo below 550 ringgit per square foot, Kelana Jaya, right? And today, if you look at the transacted price on that property, right? That property today, rental yield above 7% for clients, and the capital gain should be above 6 figure. So again, rooftop pool below 550 per square foot, we are the only party who has bought it. So if you buy at 650 and below, you make money, but we bought at 550 and below, and we confirm make money lah. Okay, we only entered one property in Ara Damansara, and that was below 570 ringgit per square foot. Today rental yield is above 6%, and now we're looking at a minimum 60,000 capital gain. So again, whether it's Kelana Jaya or Ara Damansara, we buy the cheapest. Okay. And I think if you listen to what Keith has shared, in one of the development, we are actually able to get 1,200 ringgit for a master bedroom, right? In the development in Ara Damansara, right? And last but not least, we also bought the one on top of Paradigm, below 570 per square foot, yields above 7%. And again, capital gain is above 100,000 because we bought below 570 per square foot. And today, average transacted is above 700. Okay. So again, guys, when we give you a recommendation, don't buy above 650. It's not for fun. It's not to make your life difficult. Because a lot of you came to me and say, hey, Faizul, your recommendation doesn't make sense. I couldn't find any property based on your suggested price point. So my advice to you, look harder. You clearly are not looking hard enough, right? Because we entered 5 different properties here. And if you can see, the performance in the last 3 to 4 years has been quite outstanding lah. Buy at the right price point, very hard to lose money. Okay, clear, everyone? So, for those who are keen, right, to look at joining our future deals, right, don't want to continue to overpay, pay market price, right, join our WhatsApp channel, right, join our session. Our next session, if you want to explore how to become a client, will be next Sunday on the 15th of September. Otherwise, join our free WhatsApp channel, get the latest update. Okay. Mana tahu ada lebih-lebih unit here and there, client dah habis beli apa semua tu, we can forward some to you guys lah. But leftover units lah. You want prime, you want to buy first, be a client lah. That one very clear. Okay. So, I thank you for your time. I thought we can finish early because of my sore throat. Turns out it's still 1 o'clock before we hit Q&A. So let's hope we don't have that much of question during Q&A. So with that, I think we can move to the Q&A. And if you guys are watching from YouTube or Zoom.
So now we are moving to the live Q&A session. So before we start, I would like for the panelists to choose, please pick up 3 questions to be answered. All right, so I will start to read the first question. As a first-time home buyer looking to buy in this area, any tips for me?
I think my tip for first-time home buyer, buy something completed. Don't buy something that takes 3 to 4 years to complete. For a couple of simple reasons. My general view has always been, please buy property that was launched before COVID. Because the same 600 ringgit per square foot before COVID and the same 600 ringgit per square foot after COVID, the spec is completely different one. Before COVID, you get luxury spec for 600 ringgit per square foot. Today, you get completely mass market, just slightly better than rumah Sagoko, rumah whip spec for 600 ringgit per square foot. Sorry, it's the truth. The cost has gone up by 30 to 50% since COVID. It's not a joke, right? So if you can buy completed property launch pre-COVID, which is why you see all 6 people here, we all pick the same property. Why? Pre-COVID launch, it was sold for 900 ringgit per square foot. It was a hotel spec, but today can be bought at below 600 ringgit per square foot, right? So buy completed, you can see the unit, you get the best spec, you get the best quality, and on top of that, you can rent out almost immediately, right? So anyone know during property buran, you don't want to own just one property and stuck there for 3 to 4 years. Right? You want to buy 1, 2 property every year. Because during height of property buran, making 200,000, 300,000 per property capital gain is very common. So if you own one property, you sell one, you make 100,000, 200,000, but you got no property after that. You own 3 to 4 property, you sell 2, you still have 2, you see, and you still make 2 to 200,000 capital gain that you can enjoy, have fun, right? So for first time home buyer, buy completed, buy property whereby rental yield can cover, buy pre-COVID launches. That would be my tip to you. You buy a completely different spec, by the way, compared to post-COVID.
Okay, so second question. Some development ban short-term rentals like Airbnb, while others allow it. How should I approach investing in a property that prohibits Airbnb? What strategies can I use to maximize rental income in such cases?
I think my short answer would be, number one, the ban of Airbnb is not a forever ban. It's decided by the JMB at that point of time. A more informed JMB. You see, I always think that, this is probably controversial, but I think that any JMB that bans Airbnb is a stupid JMB. It's an uninformed JMB. Right? Now, I don't like Airbnb, to be honest. But I think there's a better way of doing it. If you do Airbnb at a higher standard, deposit of 10,000, certain quality, right? You actually increase the property value. Because if you look at the many properties, Ara Damansara, I also suspect many of these condos for own stay also ban Airbnb. Look at the rental. Rental yield is poor. No one makes money. Right? No one makes money. So I think if you are a JMB guy as of today watching this, it's very short-sighted to ban a workable rental option. I think you should put things, they will make it workable, but make it tighter so that you don't bring a chaplang operator to come in and run Airbnb. Right? And work together lah. So which means, for us at FACAP, it's quite straightforward lah. We buy 50, 100, 200 units in a single development. So it's not that difficult to group people to take over MC and take over JMB lah, so that this thing can be, unbanned, right? It's a lot harder to go and do it on your own. Right? So it's similar to how certain development want to ban co-living, which I think is quite stupid. Right? Because a workable rental option is a workable rental option. If you are worried about the quality of the people coming in, make the standard higher, not ban it. Banning it is basically just saying, it's like macam, let's just say Malaysia is a Muslim country. Let's just ban short pants. Yeah, that's basically what a MC company that bans Airbnb. They assume that everyone, right, is gonna do party, do drugs, kill people in the, they do private party and prostitution in Airbnb lah. Fuck no, right? There are a lot of people who actually decent stay in Airbnb one, no. Right? When we do co-living, right? People literally think we're gonna put 20 Bangladeshi, pundak betul, just because I look like one. They literally think I'm gonna put 20 Bangladeshis in the condos, Mother trucker, I've seen some of the content. in this WhatsApp group of owners, they literally think, oh, you think this guy mentang-mentang lah dia tak duduk dekat sini kan, and hey, we put local guy who pay 1,200 for a master bedroom. Who the fuck do you think stays in 1,200 master bedroom? 20 Bangladeshis? Are you fucking kidding me? Right? So again, when you have stupid people looking after the development, you get stupid outcomes. So I'm so sorry. Many of the people who runs MC are not educated. They're not property investors. They have no idea what they're doing. You are worried about security, increase security. Right? Not a problem. What do you think?
So my advice to this audience is participate in the JMB meetings, the AGMs. That's the only way decisions are made. So when they ban, it's only from that level. That's correct. But it's pro bono, no money kind of thing. That's why no investors in the right mind will go and run an MC one. Right? So who actually runs management committee? Old birds, nothing to do, nosy fella who thinks that they want power, retirees because last time they were power because they had a power seat. Now no more seat, nobody listens to them. This is where they kind of have authority to order others. Usually those are the people who will run MCs. Nothing wrong, actually. So if I'm a resident raising my family there, perfect. I think they are perfect. I give them a lot of respect. But for investment properties, then it's a bit tough. So that's why personally, for my investment portfolio, I do not depend on co-living and Airbnb because they are risky, especially from an individual investor point of view. So you can always get voted out one.
Yeah.
And it's not only against co-living or Airbnb. Even when developers have unsold units versus the JMB, JMB tends to anti-developer when thinking the developer will try to make things worse for them one. So now because strata developments in Malaysia is still rather new. I think 30, 40 years is still new lah. The mindset is not there yet. The only way is to vote lah. You go attend JMB for 6 hours, listen to people complain, absolute toxic. Absolute toxic. But
I think the worst experience from joining a lot of JMB, there's one development near Kelana Jaya actually. People were throwing chair. It's a real experience last year. I think Faizul knows this.
Throw chair.
Yeah. Throw chair.
Oh, I thought it happened in Taiwan only. But, okay.
Whatever Taiwan can do, we can do better. Right? So I think it's an education really. It's not about banning. It's about understanding the risk and also how to make it better. Because when you ban, you as the owner actually risk yourself from one rental option gone. Right? So to me, it doesn't make sense.
Okay. All right. So moving to the next question. Why is the price per square foot for High Park Suites is 1,002? What factors are driving this price?
Don't know. I can't comprehend.
Speaking from a executive a KTML in developer last time, directors in multinational in this kind of developer will be, they expect premiums because they are public listed, especially when at the bull run kind of time lah. So if you look back, I think High Park was launched when the whole market was in ecstasy lah.
Yeah. No idea. But is it overpriced? Yes.
But surprisingly, it's still performing. That's the thing also.
But the median is very clear, right? 700 plus per square foot for Kelana Jaya. At 1,000. Put it this way, lah, you enter at 1,000. For you to make money, everything has to move up. 2,000, 2,003.
But I think this is a question I get a lot. So after they watch the thing, then they come and email me. Like, okay, so is it fairer to have the median price where they are weightage to old, completed, and new projects? Because if you lump all together, right? Like now you see it's like 600, but just now you mentioned where you need to look harder lah. But from a person without access, right? You only compare all new, right? Technically, you're stuck. Unless you have capital to go in subsale.
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah, I think which is why, for example, we purposely divide old developments median versus new. Right? So we think it's going to help the market lah. Yeah.
But because you got Zairi and you got LB lah, normal people where got do so clear one.
Okay lah. For normal people, they're happily buying without any of the Battle Royale in the last 20 years.
Aiyo.
Happily losing money too. So I doubt that we will,
Okay. I asked too much question already. Okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
boss.
Okay, all right. So next question. What do you think of Sunway Sarani as an investment property?
I think just now cleared with you in the discussion.
Neither here nor there. Right? It's either LRT play or paradigm play. It's neither here nor there lah. It's got the nicest property, nicest facilities. Right?
Question. Anyone know when was the revision of Bumi quota to 50% in Selangor? Or was it has it always been 50%? Because my friend actually developed the Serena. And it's 50% Bumi. So got 2 blocks. You tell me one Bumi, one non-Bumi.
It's been there for quite some time.
50%.
I mean, they did ask us to market many years ago, right? When I was doing property speaking engagement, they already had a 50% Bumi quota back then.
What year was this? I cannot remember.
2016, 2017.
Okay. That time I was in Johor. So Johor, 30%. I thought that, okay, 30% fine, right? 25%, 30%. Here 50 there. Wow. Okay. Again, me asking me questions.
Yep.
Sorry.
All right. So next question. What is the expected price in both areas during property bull run? Which area has got better capital gains prospect?
Who wants to speculate?
I ask co-living people.
My take here is that the price of the newly completed property will go to somewhere where the new launches are. I think the Kelana Jaya side will most likely see a 1,000 PSF launch in the next 3 years. So you will see many of these properties today that is asking 700 to 800 ringgit per square foot average will start asking 1,000 per square foot. Ara Damansara, because of the new launches between 6 to 700, will probably lack. Right? Because you got what? 4 or 5 developments and in Ara Damansara all about the same time. And all are asking below 800 ringgit per square foot. So supply-wise, Ara Damansara has got a lot coming. Kelana Jaya almost zero.
No land really.
Yeah. I think Sunway has got one more land next to it.
Unless they tear down the Western Digital. I don't think they're going to tear down, they're going to repurpose it.
Yeah. And UAM bought the land from, I think, the one opposite lah. They're gonna live.
Oh, got.
Giant Mall lah.
No. Icon City 2.
To us, that's not part of Kelana Jaya already.
Yeah, but
We take it out. Icon purposely.
wow, that would be interesting.
Yeah. So I think you will see a 1,000 per square foot launch in Kelana Jaya before you see one in Ara Damansara. Right? Because still part of old PJ. Lack of land. Right? So while today the price per square foot for both for new there's not a lot of difference, right? Less than 10%. But I think you will see a greater disparity, right? So I think at the peak of the bull run, the Kelana Jaya side will be asking closer to about 1,000 ringgit per square foot.
And it has been done before already, so it's not that big of a surprise.
Yeah. Right? Ara Damansara will probably be 800 to 900.
But I think in that bull run, because the nature of Ara Damansara is more landed, the landed there will skyrocket lah. Because now it's already 1.2, 1.5, corner lot is 1.8. Oof.
For sure.
Different play lah.
So for Ara Damansara, the landed will outperform for sure. Kelana Jaya.
Okay.
Next.
All right, so question from Leon. 33 years old, got around 20K cash, 5K monthly income, zero commitment now, would like to find a property around 400K or below, would like nearby LRT so that if unable rent out, I can move in for a stay. Thanks. So, yeah. Basically want to find a property below 400K.
Dekat sini tak ada, bro. For Ara Damansara, Kelana Jaya tidak ada, tak wujud. Right? We've got one nearby MRT 2. 260,000. Boleh jalan kaki. Ada mall kat sebelah, ada MRT kat sebelah. Can walk. Right? But that one, you have to become a client lah to buy at 260. Bukan klien, bayar 300,000 dekat luar.
Okay, next question is from Mei Chow. Does it mean co-living is similar to Airbnb? If not, why?
Mana sama. Not the same at all. Different.
Co-living is a fancy word for room rental.
Yeah.
Just that it's a different scale.
Airbnb is a couple of days rental. Co-living is that you divide the unit into 5 different rooms, tenants, but you still rent those units long term. Right? So two different animal.
Question, sorry. For both Xian and Keith, right, is there a minimum period for rent for your clients?
I
Yes.
think right now for co-living is usually 6 months, the minimum.
6 months lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
And
now
above.
because I got a lot of foreigners, expats coming in. Hey, I just need a room for like 2 months. Co-living cannot lah, right? Unless they burn the deposit lah.
Actually, we also used to get this kind of request, and if we got this request, we actually ask them straight away, you go and rent long-term
Airbnb.
rental, Airbnb. But in fact, also right now, just also to share with Shane is also working on something called medium-term rental. So actually that medium-term rental, Shane is the one running it to cater to specifically to this group of audience where they do have a certain budget for that, and yet their tenure will be shorter.
Yeah. Especially with the economic growth nowadays and also the trends between the youth and also for foreigners. They tend to come here in Malaysia and stay for 1 month, 2 months. So they're looking for a provider that can cater this kind of service. If let's say if they are staying at hotel, which currently some of them are already, I will say before we introduce. So they are paying around 5,000, 6,000 for a very small studio when if let's say we introduce something similar within the market, they can rent out with something of much more bigger size and also much more comfortable lah. So this is something that what Keith informed, something a concept that we are wanted to do and a much more friendly lah for them. Yeah.
Yeah. And the hotel you mean is like those, not those atas hotel, right? It's those shop lot punya hotel kan?
Yeah. Even the one that is, you know, yang dekat shop lot area tu, they can go up to 1,500, 2,000. So it's really dull punya hotel lah, you know.
Because now a lot of people send their staff for training 1 month, 2 months, and all HQs are still in PJ, KL. But no solution to that. So they all really rent Airbnb for 2 months. Cool. Thanks for sharing.
Okay, moving to the next question from Wong P. How likely Ara Damansara or the Kelana Jaya location will turn into tier 1 within 5 years?
I don't think Kelana Jaya can. I also think that the probability of Ara Damansara becoming part of tier 1 is high. So in the next 5 years, highly unlikely.
Tak mungkin lah.
I guess to be tier 1 have to come with a lot of attraction booster, angmo, and also working opportunities. But in these two areas, one Ara Damansara is more towards own stay. Kelana Jaya, nothing much also, and also nothing much to be built. No more upcoming booster to boost up the area. Not upcoming
Area for the locals.
Yeah, it's more to a local.
So here's the thing, right? Why do you want it to move to tier 1? Right? So that's the main question, right? Why do you want it to move to tier 1? Right? And the reality here is that asking per square foot, tier 1 and tier 2 can be the same. What is different is the rental value. Be careful what you wish for. Because what you are basically saying here is that if Aradi and Kelana Jaya becomes part of tier 1, many of the locals staying there today will be completely priced out. It's no longer going to be affordable for them to rent, which I don't think is a good thing. Right? Asking price today is already comparable to Mount Kiara at 700 plus per square foot. It's not that far away.
Okay, so the next question is from KH. I understand that cashback are common around these new launches. How sure is it that customer will get it? Is it legally mandatory for developer to give back? What if they don't?
Okay, let me take this because they all blush. A lot of people think cashback is so normal just because Faizul's team is doing it, you know. I think that's the biggest misconception. So yeah lah, Faizul as usual spoil market lah. But but if you go outside, right, no such thing one. Even if you get cashback, it's like 3%, 2% or 10%, right? And what people always don't tell you is when you will get the cashback. Usually it's after the safest from a developer is after construction before you get your keys or together when you get your keys. So when you guys buy properties, I think number 1 got cashback or not. Number 2 is when will you get the cashback. Nobody asks when you will get cashback. Right? Because as a developer, why must I give you? I can just knock off my construction interest, right? I save more money, get more profits in the end. Yeah, so I think don't take FAR Capital as the market standard. Because it's very, very difficult to replicate. So is it legally mandatory? So it's actually part of your SPA when you sign one. It's not in your SPA, but it's an additional supplementary agreement.
I think outside kalau if I was offered a high rebate punya projects or property, I would be afraid lah. Must be wondering why you giving me such a high rebate.
You are right. I never thought of it. If it's open to public with high cashback, right?
Yeah, must be something wrong.
Very wrong. Must be very, very wrong.
So normally, any project with above 20 to 30% rebate offered to the public from the start will normally be either delayed or abandoned. Above 50% possibility. So to answer your question, I know of a project in Ara Damansara whereby I had a student who bought, supposed to get 100,000 cashback, and the cashback wasn't given, wasn't paid to him, basically. He sued the agent that basically pocketed the cashback. And the agent basically tell him, sue me, lor. I'm going to bankrupt anyway. Sue me, lor. So didn't get it. So the answer to you here is that, is there a guarantee you get cashback? The answer is no. Okay. But touch wood, so far, 10 years at far cap, every project that we've said you're going to get cashback is 100%. So the difference here is that I've got I've got a very strong legal team. Number two, we don't buy 10, 20 units like agents. We buy 50 to 100. Those kind of purchasing power makes developer a little bit more afraid to fuck around. Lah. That's all I can say. Right? So like what Sean has said, number one, if outside you've got a lot of cashback up front, be very worried. Especially new launcher. 10% normal. Standard, okay. Anything above 15, you should be very worried. Number two, we have heard a lot of instances of cashback not being paid. Money burner. Real story. For us, so far, last 10 years, don't have. Right? Every single time our clients get paid, I think the worst was a delay of 2 months. That's it. Than what was originally promised.
In the market now, it's not burn cashback. It's they void the agreement of guarantee buyback. I also just got very new to this. I said GRR, now got GBB. It's like GCB at it. So
guaranteed buyback,
at the price. So now I think the developer really thought that the market will fly, but then I will buy back your unit at a certain price if you want to sell. But now that clause, they are not honoring it.
No surprises there, not honoring it.
So, jeng jeng jeng. If it's too good to be true, it mostly is that.
Okay, so next question is from Nicholas. Some owners just don't want to dump more money to make their property nicer to attract higher quality tenants. So I think it's difficult to enforce this, right?
I think this is regarding the enforcement of higher standard for the... Yeah.
So I give you an example, right? One of the proposals I've always proposed is that if you want to do Airbnb, can, but put a deposit of 10,000.
Owner put in to the management.
Yes. Any shit happen, you got 10,000 to play, right? So what does this mean? You will completely eliminate low quality owners. Automatically. GMB has got additional kitty money. In the event of an emergency, you got money to play. Right? And owner has to adhere to a minimum per night price.
Yeah.
Right? If you do a 250, you will attract a completely different set of group. Right? If you do 100 ringgit per night, then yes, Tom, Dick, and Harry will go into your group. Banning co-living is not our solution. Setting the right price so that you can attract better quality tenants is the solution. Similar.
So this happens for Shin and Keith lah. They set minimum day rate.
No, unfortunately, they just ban.
Oh, okay.
They say this is bad. Let's ban it. Right? So very lazy way of looking at it, right? So it's like just saying all Yahudi is bad. Let's just ban them from entering the country. There are some good Jews too.
Why must you go there?
I mean, it's the easiest to understand, right? Right? So you don't put a blanket ban, right? Just because one guy did something wrong. right? You make it difficult. You still want to bring quality. But most owners are not educated, right? Put it this way. How many JMB is talking about putting an electric power point for electric cars for their condo? Almost none. But you know, if you put one, right, you're going to bring a group of electric car owners staying there. Right? So a lot of people don't know how to increase property value long term. But talk as if they know. Like what you say lah, retiree.
Those free, nothing to do.
But otak tu berkarat already, cannot learn new tricks. Wah, my boss have literally gotten worse as the night goes on.
Yes, we have only 5 more minutes for Faizul.
Tak ada suara.
Let's go.
Can I add to answer Nicholas' answer? I think when it comes, not just owners have to dump money. If let's say if the JMB are doing a really, really good work, meaning that they are able to control the price from the beginning, set the minimum standards and everything and so on. So I think what is the best practice is to teach the JMB, and probably the best is to have someone that is understand how does the investment and also how does everything this works lah. So meaning that they are able to control from everything. You know, they set a certain numbers of operators for Airbnb, set certain numbers of operators for co-living. So they can control in terms of all the ins and out, the renters and everything and so on, to the point that the market in that development is doing good. So they know, because you know there's not going to be an influx numbers of rooms that we drop down the rental. No, they control everything from there. So I think in terms of the development value point for the long term also going to be better, because again, for whole unit, you know, they want to stay is doing good. For room renter, they are doing good. For Airbnb, they are doing good. So everything are doing good. There is something that I think JMB have the power to do it. You know, they can control it, and at the same time, they can make certain rules different from different lah. For example, let's say lah, for the own stay, you know, they want better use of the facilities. I think this is something that many property apps like Jaga apps, for example, you know, they can control. Let's say, hey lah, room renter punya people can only use certain numbers of every time per usage. But for whole unit, you know, they have different exposure and everything and so on. So this is something that can control definitely 100%, as long as if they are educated and also know how to control it. I think I know one or two developments near Jalan Ampang that are really good in terms of the JMB and also MO, to the point that they are really, really working together with all of the residents. And I think in terms of that, the Airbnb that are really, really controlling. Let's say if there's someone new, let's say, hey, you cannot do this. Yeah. You have to register properly, and then we're going to educate you how to do Airbnb at this place. And then your tenant will have access to this and everything and so on. So this is a very good practice they are doing. So I don't want to say that development, because, you know, it's not paket punya development, so tak nak jual. But it's a really good practice, and I think this is something that all development JMB should be doing lah. Rather than banning it, why not work together? At the same time, long term, your property will increase the value also. So yeah, so I think that is things that I just want to share.
Hey, Faisal, I have something I want to add on. Because just not a lot, like some people, like Nicholas, like the question just you asked, like some owners doesn't want to dump more money and all these things. I just want to say, and I also talk about the banning issue on Airbnb, ban co-living. I just want to let a lot of people know that today is a chicken egg story. If the property itself is an investor-centric property itself, and there are so many banning, right, and the investor don't make money, right, you don't expect investor to come and pay all the maintenance fee sinking fund on time. And then eventually, throughout the time, or the condo, no matter how good it was, a 5-star, 3-star, 4-star condo, it will also go down to 1 star due to bad maintenance. Sometimes it's not the JMBMC issue, it's just JMBMC issue also, because they are the one who banned it, right? So just want to let everybody knows that there are a lot of okay, I have been to one condo I've been to one condo that was under Farcap. That was one of the developments in Farcaps in JB. A lot of people say it was old and all those things, and I went there. I'm like, when it got old, it was looked as new. I was like, I cannot stay in this condo. So they said it's old condo. I said, no way, man. Like I'm talking about is when the owners make money, nobody will neglect their responsibility in paying those things. They won't. So it makes everybody better with a better control instead of blanket kind of thing. Nobody
It's
wants.
realistic.
Yes.
If you have money, you can pay maintenance fee. Right? If you
Yes.
don't have money, you don't have lah.
Yeah.
It's just realistic.
Yeah. It's just funny that a lot of people want to ban this, and then you hurt people's resume. People won't pay, and then eventually you won't make you don't get benefit out of it. So sometimes I just kind of feel funny.
Okay. So right. So no more like big more question. Also now we are at the end of the session. So any last Faizul, before we end of the session. The panel is so happy.
Still me, yeah. Thank you, everyone. I lost my voice now. Bye.